Good morning, good evening, or good day, and welcome to the Z to Z podcast, the home for Xbox achievement hunters and gamerscore junkies. I am your host, Brandon Freeman. Thank you so much for listening. At Z to Z, we love gaming and, in particular, grabbing achievements and gaining gamerscore. We do news, reviews, and interviews. If it's about achievements, we'll unlock it. This week, we are covering an introduction to home mortgage refinance as it relates to trying to complete games in the Toys to Life genre. We look at the big three games out there and help to provide the most straightforward approach to completing those games, and hopefully try to provide enough information to keep your wallets full and your shelves empty. Unless, of course, you're a collector, then in that case, don't bother having a family. You won't be able to afford to feed them. You can find show notes for this show, as well as previous shows, on our website, z2z.com. This is episode 19. You can also contact us with questions and comments on Twitter at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED, or email us directly, contact@z2z.com. Today's show is brought to you by the achievement Healing Hero from the game Valiant Hearts: The Great War. This achievement was picked in honor of Anzac Day on April 25th, which is Australia's national holiday commemorating all the Australian and New Zealand soldiers who served and died in all the wars, conflicts, and peacekeeping operations, and all the contributions and suffering to those that have served. Initially, this honored the first battle in the First World War, the Battle of Gallipoli. And although this game is not set in Australia, it does involve the First World War. This particular achievement is for performing 3 perfect healing QuickTime events on Carl. These QuickTime events are presented like Rock Band or Guitar Heroes, with a gauze bandage highway running across the top of the screen, scrolling from left to right. A series of button presses along will successfully resuscitate him, but you cannot make a single mistake. Overall, it's not too difficult, but a couple of tips that make your life a little easier. First, if you mess up at any time, simply mash the buttons and force a failure. The checkpoints are pretty close. You essentially beat him to death and get a beautiful checkpoint to restart at. Also, it does not affect your previous runs, so if you fail on the second one and mash the buttons and kill him, your first perfect run still holds true. I can attest to that personally. Secondly, mute the TV. There's a crying child in the background that is remarkably annoying and terribly distracting. And by muting your TV, you can focus on the buttons and not be distracted by all the commotion. Special thanks to developer and publisher Ubisoft for this wonderful game, and thanks to all the brave men and women all over the world fighting for our safety and freedom and protecting our homes and lives. And if you, our fantastic listeners, have a suggestion for an achievement sponsor, please let us know. You can contact us via Facebook, Twitter at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED, or email us at contact@z2z.com. You could even put it in a podcast review. So let's get this show started with an introduction of my co-hosts. So we've got Crandy. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right.
That's fantastic. And Terrigan, of course. How are you?
Oh,
that's
good.
Not good.
How are you?
I'm fantastic, actually. Aside from my allergies, they're really bothering me. Turns out when it gets nice out, I just want to stay inside and play video games.
Isn't that always?
That's the same as normal, isn't it?
Pretty much. So, hey, Crandy, what about you? What are you drinking today?
Well, I've got some orange pico tea from David's Tea in my pink and clear mug, also from David's Tea. It's very delicious. It's the best orange pico I've found. It's very hard to find good orange pico. And I realized I forgot to say what I was drinking last week. So last week I was drinking...
Was it tea?
It was tea. I was drinking... what was it? A jasmine green tea from a different local tea place that I don't think serves drugs.
Okay.
This is a definitely legitimate tea house. So
I don't buy it.
That's my mug this week. Well, I don't know. I haven't been there. I've only been there once. So
all right.
We'll see.
Well, We'll await the report.
Yeah, I absolutely don't buy it. So let's move into kind of our housekeeping stuff. Next week's show is really exciting because we've been having Spazpole, Damien, friend of the show, he's at PAX right now, and PAX is currently going on, and it was awesome because he would send us Skype messages, kind of a live update on what's going on during the day. I love that. It's super fun, and like where he's at and what he's seeing. So next week, the plan is to have him on the show. He'll be our boots on the ground correspondent, and he'll kind of recap what he saw, all the fun stuff that was going on at PAX East. Maybe get some swag. I don't know. He had mentioned that I saw some boots
Probably
and stuff
get some more shovelware.
that had some loot, and he's like, "Yeah, it turns out you got to always pay for that garbage." So that's too bad.
Don't have to pay for the shovelware.
No, typically not. But hey, maybe you got into that Pit People demo or the beta. I mean, it is beta season. We'll talk about more betas later in the show. But our own ZZ beta, the random to-do list, is the beta's underway. We had 22 people sign up like immediately, and so we closed it off, shut it down for the day. And so we're going to work with this group and hammer out all the details, and then I assure you, when the main contest is launched, it will be open for more than one day. You will have the opportunity to sign up, join up, and we will, open it up to multiple people. But we're just kind of working through the bugs and getting our systems in place so that we can execute a really awesome contest that I hope all you achievement hunters out there enjoy participating in. In the interim, you can participate in the in a ZZ quiz. So McLovin Legend said he put it in his TA blog today. He apparently was super bored at work, and so decided to come up with how well do you know the ZZ podcast quiz? Was it 10 questions?
20
questions. How'd you guys do?
That's a lot of questions. That's almost like I think it's more than one a show.
Yeah. It
Pretty
is
good.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I got 16 out of 20 just off the top of my head. So I guess I must know the show reasonably well. How about you guys?
I did way worse than that. I think I only got. Well, I got over half. That's for sure. I'm going to say I was like 12 to 14. Some of them, and this is my problem, like when I do Jeopardy, is I always, I just spit out the answer right away, and then I think about it, and it's like, oh, no, wait, hold on. And then when you look at it, and you're like, oh, yeah, duh, that was the answer. So I don't have any patience, and so I think I was a little quick to click the spoiler view, and I was like, oh, yeah, I should have thought about that longer. So I think I got a lot wrong.
I was kind of half asleep and not keeping track when I was looking at it at first because, I just woke up, I look at my emails, and like, oh, there's a quiz. That's cool. And then I kind of went through it and was kind of
with that level of enthusiasm too. It's like, oh,
well, that's enthusiastic for half asleep,
Right.
So then you go back later, you're like, yeah, that's really cool because somebody went through and made a quiz out of all our stuff that we've done. But that's half asleep enthusiastic. Not the second part, the first part.
What I think is really cool is that we're only up to this is episode 19, and we're already getting this kind of a following that somebody's willing to do that sort of thing. That kind of gave me a bout of the feels. Actually, I'm just sort of looking at that, going, "Aw."
Big old hug.
And just kind of a note on that too. We have had an amazing week on downloads. We have demolished all of our records and have now exceeded, I believe, 1,300 downloads in a single 7-day period. So that is
pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah. And so, I don't know where this new traffic is coming. There's some new traffic coming from somewhere.
Yeah. So if it's a server farm, stop it. If it's new people, thank you. We love it.
I don't know. There's a particular region in the UK that's hitting us hard. I'm not really sure what's going on with that because it's kind of out in the middle of whoop whoop. But hi. I guess you must be bored out wherever you are.
See, it's a whole town of achievement hunters.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
They're
why
cut off-
what
they're
they
cut
what
off
they
from
do at
everything
that
except podcast.
university. That university is all about achievement hunting. Like that's where they're
Well,
they're
but
born.
if the downloads are increasing our rankings in like Google Play or something, like keep hitting us. Just it's good.
Well, if we could get all of those people, all of those downloads to leave podcast reviews, then we'd be set. So yeah, if you're out there and you want to help out the show even more, go to your favorite podcast review site and give us a rating that you think we're, of course, deserving of.
Speaking of that, we are live on Google Play now, so that's kind of cool. I really like their interface. That's only in Canada and the US though, but it's coming to other places, I think.
I couldn't even log in to check our admin interface. I'm geo-locked. It's like, Jesus, come on. Anyway.
Fantastic. What do we got here?
I was just sort of thinking, because Crandy has his mugs. I'm a guy who wears different T-shirts all the time. Maybe I should do a T-shirt of the show or something. Yeah.
Do you have one?
Right now? No, I'm stark naked, as usual.
Well, I heard when we first got on the show, you rubbing your chest for some reason.
Yeah, actually, the T-shirt I'm wearing right now is
That was unnerving.
The Count and Cookie Monster from Sesame Street, and the Count is behind Cookie Monster, biting his neck, doing what vampires do, and Cookie Monster is obviously a bit upset about this. But yes,
I could see it.
Yeah, it's the Count.
I'd have to imagine, like, as the Count,
Cookie Monster.
That's got to be like your top prize right there, like, because his blood has to be sweet. I mean, there's got to be plenty of sugar in that. I mean, that's got to be like a dessert.
Cookies.
Absolutely. So
then
yeah,
also
that's
thinking like he should come to America because we got plenty of sweets in our blood. Awesome. Well, let's move into what we've been playing this week. Well, Crandy, why don't we start with you? This is week number 2 post Graw.
Yeah,
Let's hear about all the progress you've made on all your after Graw games.
So, well, some people saw that I finished Hexic. Now, I wasn't playing Hexic. I had a very kind friend come over and help me.
Cheater.
Yeah, I know. And so that's the end of Hexic. That's done. Never to be played again. I play a little Guitar Hero Live. Torture as usual. I finished Universe at War Earth Assault. That one's a really fun game, except for the last achievement that is playing multiplayer for 75 hours.
Jeez.
So, that...
Although that said, you've played multiplayer in Graw for a lot longer.
That's nothing compared to Graw, but it's just, when that's your last achievement, you just want to get it done. So I left that on pretty much all week, and I got it in a few days. A little bit of Killer Instinct, just continuing my progress in there. I played a little bit of Gears of War 2, knocking out the last of the Horde mode. That one should be coming up for completion pretty soon. I finally got back to Ghostbusters. I've been trying to work out a time with one of my friends. We looked on our progress sheet, and the last time that we played was the end of 2012.
Oh my!
That one's long overdue.
That's about when you started playing Graw.
No, it is. It is actually. Yeah. That was. I started Universal a little bit before that. But it was at that same time that I started Ghostbusters that I started actually working on Graw. And I've been chipping away at Clash in the Clouds on BioShock Infinite. So I thought it was going to be worse than it is, but it's still annoying that you have to spend so much time just unlocking stuff that you really need to get the core of the DLC done. And I don't like that. But I was expecting it to be much more difficult than it is. I should be done that one pretty soon. I also finally finished Burial at Sea. And for anyone that's played Burial at Sea, that is like that ending. That ending is... Did either of you guys play Burial at Sea?
No, not yet.
It's so good. So you have to play the first 2 BioShocks first. Otherwise it doesn't make sense. But it is the best ending to a series like ever. It's just
some bold words.
So good. It's so good.
All right.
It's so good. Because it takes... Did you guys play BioShock Infinite?
Nope.
No, I still got to finish BioShock 1.
Come on.
I've done one. I barely started 2, and I have 3, but I haven't done anything with it.
It's good. The story's good. That twist. Both endings.
I've heard Infinite's really good.
Both endings. You got the end of Infinite and then the end of the series in Burial at Sea. And they took that and they made the best ending, and it's so good.
Burial at Sea was done by the same people who did Gone Home, isn't it? I think it's.
I thought it was by the same
team.
I thought it was still by the same people that made Infinite, but maybe not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Gone Home people.
I haven't played Gone Home, but if they did that good of a job on BioShock, maybe I need to. And then I started Party Hard this morning, actually. So we'll cover that in more detail on this week's Shovelware Cemetery. But I made some good progress in it. It's a fun game.
Cool. Terrigan, what about you? What's your week look like?
I had a 2-game week this week. I played a ton of Project Spark. I've just been mashing through that. It's actually been great because there's so much TA in it as well for the achievements that I've been getting there. It's basically, I've been topping out my team this week on GTASC, the Great True Achievement Score Contest. So yeah, it's been great for that. And yeah, just now I'm sort of getting into the slightly grindier bits now and having to level up dudes and so forth. But I've got most of the sort of easy work done for a cool 3,000 odd TA, I think. And the other game I've been playing is Elite Dangerous, which is kind of like Project Spark, but in space.
Oh,
it's kind of like drinking tea, but in space.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you'd like it. It's like drinking tea.
You do like
in space.
In space.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Space
that makes
tea
it better. Like it's like
you can actually trade tea, and they've got like rare teas.
Oh,
you can trade, and if the further
you pick up rare goods. It's kind of like that tea house that I've been to that may or may not sell drugs, but in space.
That's right, yeah. And I think there's probably some places that have tea that's like illegal, so you have to smuggle tea in.
So it's just like that place, but in space.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've got a grasp on this.
Yeah, high TA as well. Yeah. So I got a few achievements in that, but nothing really noteworthy. It's like any massively multiplayer online game. It's got very, very long, grindy kind of things to do. All fun, but it's a very big game. Still loving it though, and the community on it's really good. But yeah, that's about it for me this week. So I'll basically be doing Project Spark, I think, for the next week or two, just trying to knock out as much as I can in that. What about you, Frame?
Well, let's see. I kind of all over the place. Of course, we have all these betas that I've been playing. So,
that's right. Yeah, I did touch on the Mirror's Edge beta as well.
Yeah,
you're going to talk about that. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah. So I'll get to that later in the week because that just started yesterday. Earlier in the week, so I had played one multiplayer game of Battleborn, and I was like, okay, well. Whatever. That's fine and good, but let's just see what else this has to offer. So I hit the old random button, got a random champion, and did the raid. It's like a single player strike or raid mission. It's I think it ended up being almost an hour, maybe 45 minutes to an hour of gameplay. And it was 5 or 6 of us running through and just taking dudes out, just working dudes. It was 5 people because you have to like specifically stand on all these switches to like as gates. That was a lot of fun. I liked that so much better than the competitive part, and so now here's the cynic in me saying so the cast of characters is massive. There are, what I want to say, like 25 to 30 characters in this. Each one of them can level up to level 15, and that unlocks like all the, the abilities and everything. I'd be hard pressed to think that there's not an achievement for reaching level 15 with all characters. So like I'm already starting to think about what these achievements might look like when they come out, and I feel like they're going to be super grindy. But the
Are they
gameplay was
gonna
kind of fun.
charge you for each one of those characters? You get like 2, and then you got to buy the rest.
That's a good point. I thought it was all open to begin with. You have to unlock them. So I don't know if they're if they're gated by
maybe.
buying things or if they're gated by just game progression. But it's like
You can probably earn it with in-game currency, but each one takes 50 hours worth of grinding to get enough, or you can pay $5 or something.
it's that. I tell you the truth, that's entirely possible. So I don't quite know, but it was fun. I mean, it kind of reminded me of that. I mean, a lot of games do this too, but the one that comes to mind is Plants vs Zombies. Where you have Garden Warfare, where you've got the characters are all different. They do different things. There's some similarities to their abilities, but they're pretty much all different. And they use the L bump, R bump, and Y as your triggers to use the abilities and stuff. So it's relatively simplified fighting mechanics. But anyway, it was kind of cool. So I'll take another look at that one. Hopefully I get into that Overwatch beta because I hear much better things about that one, and it's Blizzard, so they have a more significant resume to support than Gearbox does. But I'm interested in Battleborn, and then we move into Doom. Okay, so you had said this is essentially Quake or Unreal Tournament. 100%. Oh my God. It was like exactly those games.
No, but I think there's been a lot of complaining about it not, quote, not being Doom. But what is Doom? Doom is a game that you can't aim up and down in. Like, I think a modern Doom would be Quake.
Yeah, probably.
That's like, I think that is exactly Doom. It's just people, I don't know what people's expectation is of a modern Doom. It's been so long since there's been Doom 3 was fun, but it wasn't really Doom. Like, that one wasn't. It was slow. It was horror, and it was fun, but it wasn't really Doom. But it's been like so long since there was like a Doom that I think people kind of forgotten what a modern one kind of would be. I don't know. That's my take on it. There was also kind of related. I was on the bus today. There's Doom ads all over the buses.
Oh yeah.
So there's like a big demon on the side of the buses.
Keiko Demon or whatever, or that Revenant.
Yeah, the Revenant, the one that's on the cover.
Yeah. So the game is super smooth. It plays very smooth. Totally not my style. I don't really like Unreal Tournament or Quake, to tell you the truth. I played probably 10 to 15 games. They're really quick games. They go very fast. It's super fast paced. It took me about 5 to 7 games to just figure out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, I was going to say that exactly the same thing happened to me when I played the alpha. Is like the first few games I was just
totally lost.
Well, because you have so many. The nice thing is it actually gives you everything unlocked from the start. So you have all these different weapons to actually pick from. So I was kind of going through them and kind of figuring out what I wanted and what I thought was good. So that took a few games, and then just kind of getting down like the quick, kind of getting back into that arena shooter mindset, because it's been so long since there's been one, really.
Yeah, and I think it took me 4 games to understand that I had an alt fire. I only ever threw one grenade because I keep forgetting what button that was. But yeah, I mean, so like it's total chaos, but like in such a way that it's, like you said, it's an arena shooter. I mean, it's bananas.
It's supposed to be chaotic.
Fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so
it's super
I could
fast.
totally see people loving that. I totally could see people loving that. Not really my style. I'd be interested in seeing what the single player campaign is like and how deep that is.
They were actually talking about, I don't know, I guess it was id that was releasing it. They were saying that they went with the kind of no story, all action approach, which that's Doom. I think that's Doom. They compared it to, they called it rock and roll. We went for rock and roll when we were making Doom's campaign, which I was like, that's the perfect description. It's just, there's no story. It's just full on, fast paced, good action. which is what Doom was. That's what made Doom great. You get thrown in a maze and you go kill demons.
Yep, pretty much. So
sounds good to me.
So yeah, so I played those two. As it stands between the two, Battleborn, I'm giving a thumbs up for. I'd be interested in looking more into Doom. It's kind of a sideways thumb. Like it does what it does really well. It's just not my type of game. And then Sunday night I did the Achievement House podcast. Episode 100, which I had introed a couple of episodes in the past. And so we were doing the recording, and we're all less stringent on that show. And so I was playing video games while I was on that show and was grinding out SpongeBob SquarePants and finished Super Mr. Krabs. So I got that completion under my belt finally. And
it's always a good one to get that one out of the way.
Yeah,
so one to be proud of.
It's just dumb. It was just hanging over my head like a curse. So I'm glad that's taken care of. I can now take that game disc out of my my ottoman and come put it down here in storage. I played a ton of Destiny this week, as per usual. That's kind of my go-to right now.
What's that?
It's like Elite Dangerous, only awesome.
Okay. But Elite Dangerous.
No spaceships though. No spaceship travel or fighting. But their new update, one of the things they have is it's called Challenge of the Elders. So they have Prison of the Elders, where it was kind of these individual arenas, and you'd fight a bunch of ads, and it would culminate in a boss battle. And they were randomized. You'd have different modifiers that affected how a game was played. So the Challenge of the Elders is similar, only now that the bad guys are taken bad guys, and it is, instead of just like completing the task, it is rally scoring. And so you get points based on what the modifiers are, and so this week was grenade kills. And so if you killed ads and the mains with grenades, you got bonus points. You'd get bonus points for precision shots. You get bonus points for generating orbs, using super, all these things to get points.
So I was actually watching you stream that because I think you did a test run.
That's right. I tested it.
You seem to be throwing more grenades than would be normal. And I was like, why are you just throwing a grenade at that guy and doing that thing? So that was what that's about. Okay.
Yep. So the goal is you want to fill out a card, and every week you can get a new card, and you have to get 30,000 points in one session. So that's 4 fight maps, and 90,000 points collectively over as many sessions as you need. And so we were going for that 30,000, and I mean you got to score pretty well. And the thing is so you get points for killing ads, but if you take too long, Varix, the owner of the prison, starts to get pretty grumpy, and he starts taking points away. So you can't just sit there and grind ad kills. You have to actually have some urgency on taking out the boss. And it was fun. I mean, it was cool. I'm adept at killing ads. Like, I can precision shot ads like you wouldn't believe. Bosses, I'm terrible. And jumping mechanics and stuff, yeah, I'm pretty good at jumping, but other mechanics struggle. But man, I can waste ads. And so like my scores were always super high compared to my team. And I just jumped in with some LFGs, I just kind of happenstance, and it was fun. And yeah, I tried to Twitch stream that through the ZDZ account. It was a test, so I wasn't talking. I wasn't trying to engage with anyone. I just wanted to see if it would work.
Oh yeah, we've got that Dark Souls coming up soon.
Dark Souls is tomorrow. I know. And so, but by the time this airs, hopefully you watched it and watched me struggle and enjoyed it.
I might have to stop by. I'll try to invade you. Well,
either that or like I'm wondering, and because I know Terrigan, you said you could not hear my party on the stream, but the alert popped up that says the person in your party is streaming and you can opt out of the audio. And so and I had mentioned that beforehand. I said, hey, I'm just testing some things, so you can opt out of this audio if you want. I'm wondering if they did, because there were some conversations that we were having, to coordinate the fighting, that he likely just said, no, I'm not going to contribute because you're not recording for me, you're just kind of doing your thing. So I'm wondering, like, if you guys came into the party with me, we could just have like a Zed, an off the cuff Zed the Zed show while we all laugh at my stream. You guys can all watch it 7 seconds. You can hear me go, "Oh my god!" and you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what happened," because he died. But we'll see.
That's true, because Twitch has got that huge delay.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out. But it might be kind of fun to have some people in chat with me and, have a conversation. Because otherwise I won't be talking. I'll be just like trying to figure out how to play this crazy game. Like Terrigan, I had played a bunch of Project Spark this week. I'm at the point now, I kind of cleaned up a little bit of the bonus stuff. I got the Conquer stuff to work. So I can confirm it is completing Crossroads is indeed what's triggering it, because I got the level 20 achievement today or yesterday at level 17 for completing what I assume is the 20th Crossroads. So
that was a bit of a weird one, I got the Conquer level 21 done, and that would have been on my 20th run of Crossroads. And then I went and played. I thought, okay, well, I have to now go and grind out another 20 matches with Seth. And I'd played maybe 3 or 4 with Seth. And I went and finished one, and the level 10 and level 20 for Seth just popped.
Yeah.
So I think it must be the
Seth has
total.
Always had a glitch, though. So maybe they just made Crossroads count as a level up. And Seth still has the glitch where you just level up once and everything pops. Because
fair enough. Because anyway, it was a bit of an oddity that I got level 10 and level 20 on Seth after playing one Crossroads.
I'm going to be starting Project Spark in a few weeks when I finish school. So I'll start with Seth, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's actually there's a session that both myself and Crandy are in for getting the one where you need to get 100 votes or 100 downloads on a world.
You mean you and Freem?
Freems, what did I say? I said Cranny did. So Freem and myself are in that session. I think it's on May 3rd.
May 2nd. Third for you. Okay, you're in the future.
So you may want to jump in on that.
I've got plans for that. We're going to be doing, myself and a couple other people are going to be doing like 30 accounts each. But,
nice.
But a reminder on that for our listeners and you guys, when you pop that achievement, if you plan on doing the Windows 8 version, load it up before that 24 hours is up. Otherwise, it will not transfer.
Right. So that'll
be super helpful.
Also, a note, because I mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, play Windows 8 first, import to Xbox One. I confirmed that. So Windows 8, if you plan on stacking, Windows 8 is where you want to play the majority, and then import to Xbox One.
Too late now.
Too late?
You can do the rest. I mean, I think that the progress is shared. It's just Windows 8 doesn't read some of the things properly or something. I don't know how it works. But
one of and I should have looked this up beforehand to give proper credit, but there is a world going around there called like Champions Remix 5.2.
It's a bit hard to really work out who actually did that originally because it's been shared and remixed so many times.
But oh my god, that one, because there are many of these, that one in particular has been so helpful in doing the daily challenges with the champions. You get in there and it'll spawn goblins for you and whatnot, but you can look at your daily challenges and identify which one it is, and then when you come back to the main screen, you can hit the back button or the select button or the hamburger button or whatever.
It's left trigger. It gives you the tips. It's left trigger.
Yes, then you hit left trigger, and it'll show you. What I'm saying is you have to hit the hamburger button or the back button to find out what the challenges are. Identify the challenge, then go into game and hit left trigger, and it just spells out how to do it. And so then you execute. Now, the problem is a lot of that requires higher level characters.
Yeah, that's what I found.
That's what I'm running into right now. It's like, oh, yeah, I can get all these. And then it's like, oh, man, I need Avalon at level 20 or whoever at level 2. Carl's Nord doesn't have this ability yet. Now, that being said, unlocking those gives you credit experience toward your Project Spark level. I mean, so you want to be doing those so you can get up to level 50 quickly and unlock the challenges with the individual champions. So there is a ton of value in doing that daily. going through, wiping those things out, and you'll get your weekly achievement. You'll get playtime achievements and things, and your champion challenges. So it's remarkably helpful for leveling up your Project Spark level. It will do nothing for your champion level. Your champion level is best done, aside from Seth and Conquer, those guys, do Crossroads missions for them. The others do the Voidstorm missions, because you need to beat Voidstorm without dying. There are 6 levels, like sub-chapters in Voidstorm, and with the 4 main, Avalon, Scarlet, Hakon, and Karlsnor, you need to beat each of those without dying for one of the achievements. And you get a ton of experience for going through those. It is tricky early, so go play Crossroads and level up if you're having challenges.
And I think it was Karlsnor is the hardest one.
Karlsnor is by far the hardest because he has no ranged attack. Yeah.
So the others are actually relatively straightforward with their ranged attacks. But and there's also one for doing that with co-op, but you can do that solo with a second controller.
Yep.
I ran through that myself.
It's a little tricky at the end, but yes, you definitely can do it. It's not that tricky. It's just you kind of got to pass controllers back and forth between yourself.
Yeah, it's actually, you can let your alt, let the second person die, and then there's key points during each mission that you can bring them back. So
I was nervous about doing that.
Yeah,
so
I did that for all of them. It works fine. Just got to make sure you bring them back just before you sort of trigger the end bit of the mission. So
anyway, there's tons of stuff to do in that, but it's actually not that hard. And like Terrigan said, the true achievement score on those is ludicrous. So
I think because so many people have picked up the game because
it's free.
And also a lot of it's in DLC packs, which means that the way that the TA is calculated is different, and just due to the take up of it, they get rather high, particularly on the title updates too, because there's a bunch of title updates. So a lot of TA to be gotten from that. There's only a few sort of tricky achievements that require a bit of coordination. Particularly the one that's probably the most problematic is the create a world and have it downloaded 100 times within 24 hours, which we discussed before. But there are sessions for that, or you could just set up 100 accounts.
Yep,
that's a crazy way.
That would, hey, please join our session then, because I don't want to create more accounts, but if I have to, I have to.
Oh yeah, well, if it was like 4 weeks from now, I would.
It's Monday for 24 hours. Like it's not that bad.
Yeah, but I got school I got to do.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't have time for that.
Ain't
nobody got time for that.
That's in the show notes, I guarantee. Last 2 games, my son and I playing a lot of Stickbold, some dodgeball action, playing through the story in that. We ended up getting another achievement for beating the devil. That was kind of fun. He still loves that game, and it's so ridiculous. And then Mirror's Edge beta. So I played this last night. That was the first night it was available. I have only played through the tutorial, essentially, right? It's leading up to where you begin the campaign in earnest, right? You're in juvenile hall and you have to escape and you meet up with your buddies. That's kind of the tutorial mission. There's a lot of hand holding.
Frank. God. There's
a lot of hand holding, which is super helpful to learn the mechanics. Now, my experience. Okay, so let's start with graphically. It's beautiful. It looks very, very good. That doesn't come as a surprise. Faith's voice, and I looked it up, it's not her, but Faith's voice really reminds me of Chloe from Life is Strange, and I was just waiting for some Hellas to drop. Didn't happen, and they are 2 separate voice actresses, but I kept hearing it. The voice acting is actually not too bad. I was a little nervous about kind of the dialogue and the character acting. It's actually pretty good. The script's, not for what I've seen so far, not terrible. And then comes to the crux of it is the gameplay, and it's super smooth. It's fast and smooth. The problem is it's a little touchy right now. So I don't know, if this is going to carry into the full game. Again, this is just a beta. But my experience is that there are instances where, you have to hit L bump to vault over something or wall run and jump or whatever. That's kind of your action button. And the item that is near you seems like you should be able to, hit L bump close to it, but either you're too late or you're too early and you end up just taking a huge digger. Like I spent a ton of time scraping knees and smashing my face into a wall because I can't make my jumps. And then one jump in particular where you have to jump a little fence piece, wall run for a little bit, then jump off the wall to catch a ledge. I failed like 20 to 30 times on that. I just couldn't figure it out for whatever reason.
Yeah, that one got me as well.
So, it's cool. It's fluid, which I love. I love the fact that it's just smooth and when there's a bad guy there, I mean, I ran past a lot of them. There are some combat mechanics where, if you've played Mirror's Edge in the past, but it's just as easy to just zip, go right past them in some instances. And that was super fun. And it's just quick and responsive. It's just that timing that likely will come with practice. If it'll either be practice or they just need to tweak it a little bit. Yeah,
it could also be in the beta. I don't know if they have difficulty settings. It might be a difficulty setting thing.
Could be.
There was also, I just noticed in the beta, and I suspect this is just a pathing thing in the beta, but there was one section where you had to jump and you grab a pipe overhead and you swing to another one and then you jump onto the other side. And once you get to the other side, then you see there's a little sort of ghost that you have that's leading you. You see a ghost running from a roof above you over this fence and you think, how did they get up there? And so you turn around and you swing back on these pipes, on these swings and go, okay, well, maybe I just misjumped or I didn't quite get that thing high enough. And I went back and forth on that about 20 times before I worked out that, there's actually a ladder past those up on the left-hand side that you climb up. And that really confused me because I was like, I'm missing something.
I totally missed that too. It was, and that was a lot of the cases where you'd run and you're like, okay, everything was lit up red before. Now, what am I looking for? Where can I go? And then all of a sudden, there's a drain pipe. Okay, found it. Yeah. Sometimes it got a little tricky.
Yeah, it did really remind me of the original Mirror's Edge, which is a good thing. So
it's fluid and fun. So I'll give this one a thumbs up too so far.
I don't know. I feel like I should play the original Mirror's Edge before I play the new one. I know it's a reboot, but I don't know. I feel like I should. I have the first one. I have the DLC for the first one.
Oh, I've seen them. They're dirt cheap nowadays too. You can pick those up pretty.
They're pretty cheap, but they're not sub $5 yet. I think mine was 15 on eBay or something.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It was a great game. I played through that. Got most of the achievements in that. There's some of the challenge modes are pretty difficult though. So if you're
I'm actually looking forward to those.
If you're an OCD completionist, maybe not. But we'll see.
Good luck.
They do require a lot of skill in the game. So a lot of them are very timed, and you just need to get your moves exact, and that's not easy.
Right, sure. Cool. Well, let's move into listener feedback for the week. We got some, oh my gosh, tons of great feedback, a lot of questions. There's a lot of, and we'll get to these, but there's a lot of questions for you, Terrigan, specifically about games you may or may not have played. So, but we'll get started with this one from Falcon here.
Yeah, this was a PM to me. We were just talking about We're Trading Some Games, and he basically just said, also on another note, your Z to Z podcast is awesome. I listened to 3 episodes while slogging my way through Moxie on Borderlands, JP. Moxie.
I know, Big L wants me to run that with him.
If you ever want another, he basically just gave us a big thumbs up on the show, so that was totally unprompted. So yeah, it was great to get that kind of feedback. Always love that.
Agreed. Also, and I got a private message from Cinecide, and his suggestion, he said, hey, episode 18 was great as usual. Clappy hands. Is that the sound effect for the emoticon?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to mention an idea to you guys about the show, and maybe at some point you can have a live episode. So I understand that time zones can be a problem, but we can make this like a special event where some of us listeners can pitch in or join a party or call in or discuss or whatever, and have it like a little community show. Maybe each caller gets a couple of minutes or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? And he says, I understand this can get shot down very fast, but maybe just an idea. I'm sure us listeners would love it. Toast emoticon.
I don't know how to do the sound for that. Maybe
Clinky. I don't know. What do you guys think of this idea?
I think it's a fantastic idea.
Love the idea as well.
Yep.
I was actually looking. I was doing so. We kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, and I was having a look. I was saying, oh well, I know Twitch has a gaming talk shows channel or game or whatever you call them on Twitch box thing that you can pick. Saying, hey, yeah, we can stream it on Twitch. We can have the people come in. There can be a chat room for people that are waiting. They can chat with each other in the Twitch stream. Right. And we can call people in one at a time, and then they can kind of have their question or comment, and then we can get through a lot of people in a recording. We could dedicate a feature content to that or something. Yeah.
So my only concern about that is just getting the recording and editing. So for release, that's the only thing. I sort of wonder if
we have this recording software that we're using here. We have other avenues.
Well, the thing is that Zencastr is what we're currently playing with at the moment, and it's working really well. And I think the way it works, we could actually potentially invite people in sort of temporarily into the show and things like that. It's certainly something I'd like to get something going on that. Just with getting the logistics down is the
if we're going to do it, we should probably do like a semi-exclusive test run or something, get like 10 people, see if Zencastr can handle it.
Like another beta?
Yes.
I love betas. That's all I want to do now.
It is beta season. We gotta have a couple Z to Z betas. You get the beta leaderboard, we get the beta call-in show, all kinds of goodies.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, Cinecide, love the idea. We will continue to flesh this thing out.
And if we did a live
because
show,
it was your idea, you'll be first on the list to get on it.
And if we did a live show, we could get all these new listeners from Twitch.
Do that too. We'll have to have that achievement unlocked button ready for all the bleeping.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good point. Well, we could be an explicit live show.
We could.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's fine for live shows. It's not really that important. The thing about bleeping out those kind of things on iTunes is that if you mark a single episode of your show as explicit in iTunes, it marks your entire show as explicit. So even if all of your episodes except for one are clean, as soon as you mark one as not clean, it basically taints, so to speak, your entire show. So, and that means that it won't be visible to any sort of regions or areas, or even to child accounts and things like that can't view those kind of that kind of show. So it's pretty important as far as iTunes goes for us to ensure that it stays clean. But if we record a live show, then we can certainly edit out anything like that. And if it's on another system like Twitch, it won't really matter.
Yeah. Oh, I did not know that. That's super interesting information. I also now will move on to another private message I got from Keith 271179, which. Am I understanding that his birthday is November 27th, 1979? Is that what we think those numbers mean? He's a foreigner with that as his birthday. I'm going to go try and see if I can open his garage with that code. Anyway, he says...
Maybe it's his PIN number.
He says, hey, Brandon, I'm still enjoying the awesome podcast you guys created. Keep it up. Hey, I got a question for you all. What games... past or present from another platform would you love to play with achievements? It says mine would be the Wipeout series and Mario. And I think he means Wipeout like the racing games, not the the motorcycle racing games, not the smashing your face in the head with inflatable balls and whatnot. He said, oh, babe, by the way, Terrigan, this is for you. Have you heard of the game Elite Dangerous? He says he understands it's like most other games, but in space with ships. Anything?
Yeah.
Ring a bell? Nothing?
I don't know.
No. I'm
So-
not sure. I'll have to look that one up.
Other platform games with achievements. What do you guys think?
Earthworm Jim 2.
Was that on Sega?
It was on like 8 different
Dreamcast?
consoles. It's Genesis / Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, not Sega CD, Sega Saturn. Horrible version on PC. I guess that's it. Again, that's not quite as many as I thought. But.
One I would say is Legend of the Mystical Ninja. I mentioned it on a previous show.
Oh, and PS1.
Something tells me that achievement list would be brutal. If I struggled through the main game, like I think the achievement
if it was done a little bit like Rare Replay, at least you could like do snapshots and save and things like that.
Oh, that'd be nice. Emulated it. I think well, across the board, number one for me would be Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, that's probably one of my top two. And the Mario 64, I would play through that game for the 18th time or something like that to get all the stars, I think, if there was achievements related to it.
See, I like the 2D Marios better. Like, I really liked Super Mario World and Yoshi. The first Yoshi
one on the Wii. It was a Super Paper Mario. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
I'd play that too.
Smash Brothers as well. If I could play Smash Brothers on my Xbox, that'd
I've
be great.
considered buying a Wii U a couple of times just for Smash Brothers. But then I think, I'm like, am I really going to play Smash Bros. That much? I'm like, no. It's not worth buying. I could buy another Xbox One.
Yeah, maybe after Grow.
Yeah,
I could
right?
buy another Xbox One.
Corinne, do you have anything else? Any other games that kind of pique your interest?
My go-to is Sonic CD, but that one already has achievements.
I know one. There's this space sim called Elite. It's from like 1984. Now, if that had achievements, it's kind of like Mario, but in space.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
You know what would be kind of fun is to do like old school track and field on the NES with the pad, and be like an achievement for jumping 900 feet when you do the cheat. Like if they just embraced the fact that you could just ruin the game, like that would be kind of fun.
I think a
lot of those old games though, they're just not deep enough, not long enough to have like really solid lists. Like they're just so repetitive. They're super fun. They got great game systems, but there's just not a lot of depth to them. That being said, there's plenty of games now that are doing the same thing. I mean, that's the notion of Shovelware Cemetery is, you can honestly, how much gameplay mechanic is in Soda Drinker Pro? I suppose Randy will fill us in later.
5.5 gigabytes worth, but we'll get to that later. But you can do lists like Robotron 2084 where you just have to get really good at the game. Like that's to wave 100. Even wave 100 in Robotron, even on the easiest setting, is no easy.
No walk in the park.
Yes,
Bubble Bobble. That'd be a good game.
Huh.
I guess Robotron's kind of a very extreme example, but I mean, you could look at like Earthworm Jim 1. That one you had to beat the game on the hardest difficulty without dying, which is very doable if you're good at Earthworm Jim, but it takes some practice.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Crandy, what kind of questions you got here?
So we got a question from Mighty Mango. This is kind of almost in the same line with the last one. Is what is your favorite non-Xbox / PC game? So for me, I guess I'm gonna have to go. I really like Sonic CD, but it is an Xbox game, but it's also not. But I do really like Sonic CD. Earthworm Jim 2 is amazing game. I love Earthworm Jim, the first one, and the second one just took what that did well and just did it even better. And unfortunately, it hasn't really had a very good kind of reboot or it hasn't really been brought onto any modern systems properly. There's a really bad PC version, but if you really want to play that game, you pretty much have to emulate it, which is kind of a shame because it's a really, really good one. Another one that I haven't played in a long time, I have very fond memories of it, is WarioWare Inc. on GameCube. It's this weird party game by Nintendo.
I know the game.
Yeah,
weird.
and that game is a blast. If you've got a few local friends, there's nothing to it, but it's so fun. I think the whole game uses just a joystick and the A button,
Pretty much.
and that game's a blast.
Yeah, there was the Wii version as well.
I didn't ever play the Wii version.
Yeah,
I played WarioWare Inc. on GameCube. I played the original WarioWare on Game Boy that was only single player, I think. And then I played WarioWare Twisted and WarioWare Touched.
The
That was it.
Wii version was notorious for, because of course you move around with the Wiimote and
Yeah.
do things, and there's a lot of jokes about it making you do things that are not quite decent. So
I could see
it's
that.
pretty funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, I don't know, if I had to pick one though, I'd probably go with Earthworm Jim too.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about, this is probably another one that I might add to my list for having achievements too. It would be Final Fantasy VIII. I played the crap out of that game, 8 and 10 actually. And I know that I'm pretty sure both of those now have versions on PlayStation, as in redone versions. But they're probably games that I spent way too much time in. Going through and doing all of the sort of side quests and ultimate weapons and all sorts of stuff.
I remember that Final Fantasy VIII was pretty fun. I never finished it, but I did play a good chunk of it. I found it. This was kind of after it was old. I found it at a used game store for like $10 or something. I bought it and it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was the first time they sort of went with more lifelike characters. The previous versions also had the cartoony kind of size characters, and that was the first version where they had full-sized characters. I think they actually copped a lot of flack for that, and then 9 went back to the cartoony ones, and I didn't really get into 9 because I hadn't played 7 or any of the others, and so I had no kind of history. 8 was the first one I picked up, and so to me, the full-size characters was Final Fantasy. So when I went and tried 9, it was like a bit jarring. It was kind of funny. But then 10 was the full-size again, so that was good for me.
Yeah, I'll add Metroid Prime to my list. That was a lot of fun. Both fitting the Metroidvania style game and first-person view is a unique way of presenting it. I liked that quite a bit. So I could see doing that one, and I had another one, and it slipped my mind. But technically there's a new version of it, but Bionic Commando is like my favorite game of all time. The old school, and they got the Rearmed, which is essentially, it's the same game, but something about having that weird Nintendo controller back in the day that was really charming. So yeah,
I guess you could
awesome, great question, Mango. Appreciate that.
Maybe you could rig something up to get the old NES controller going on the 360.
Speaking of controllers, so and Damien will probably talk about this next week on that show, but that picture he took of him playing Pit People with that giant, weird-looking controller.
Yeah, that looks fun.
It's like some crazy fight stick, like for a turn-based game. It was just weird.
Yeah,
cool looking.
Well, I saw they sent out I think it was a press email a couple of weeks ago where they had a picture of it in there, and they were talking about, I think they made it custom for that game. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if they're going to be available outside of the PAX booth / press events, but it's still kind of cool even if they are only available there.
Right, right.
So we have another question from, I think it was from XXX420 B1G311XX420XX. Nice. He says, for the group, what are your favorite 360 and One launch titles? He thinks Call of Duty 2 looks nice, but it's difficult and has a low TA ratio.
I'm looking at the list right now. There's not a lot of games on those launch titles.
I think I'm going to have to go with Condemned. I think because I haven't played Call of Duty 2 because I still haven't found one that's in decent shape for a good price. I don't know why there are none of those. But I think Condemned 2 was kind of like the best original game that really kind of stood out. And even I played it when it was fairly old, and it was still, I mean, it felt dated for sure, but it still held up because it has really solid gameplay and kind of atmosphere and story. So I think I'm going to have to go with Condemned. Obviously Cameo. I'm a big fan of Cameo and Perfect Dark Zero. So I mean, I actually do like Perfect Dark Zero, but yeah, Cameo, not so much. That's way up there on my list too. You know.
To be honest, I haven't played any of these games.
I've played
not a single one.
Project Gotham Racing 3, and I think I was much more of a racer back then. And yeah, that probably out of that list there, that'd be the one I sort of spent the most time on. But I mean, when I got my 360 late, it got released in Australia a bit after it got released in sort of North America anyway. And basically the game that I started with was Dead Rising pretty much. So
yep, same here.
So
that was my launch game.
Yeah, that was the launch
Dead
for me.
Rising, then that would be my launch game.
But the other one that's not actually listed there, I think, would be Hexic.
Yeah,
that sort of came on the console. True. It's a launch title. It's not a retail title. So I mean, I loved that game when it came out as well, and I played that to a ton and finished it, of course. But yeah, so Project Gotham Racing and Hexic out of those ones.
From my mind here, if I had to like pick one of these games, it would be based on the name, and it would be Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
King Kong was actually a good game.
I just love the fact that they wrote that whole title out.
People complain about King Kong sucking, but if you played it without cheats, because I didn't know there were cheats, because I know it was easy. You just had to beat the game, you get the full 1,000 gamer score. And I didn't know there were cheats. I think there are cheats. So there's something. Cheats, there's some trick, and I didn't know it. So I played it normally, and it was really fun. I was surprised. I thought, it's a King Kong movie game and whatever. But no, because I remembered King Kong because they always had it on the display 360 consoles in EB Games because it looked good or something. Had the best graphics or something. But no, it was. I played it years and years later, and it's not that long, but when it was substantially discounted, and it was fun. I quite like that game.
And what about the one? You guys have
the one.
That's a tiny list too.
I haven't played any of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a bit of them, some of them. Like part of me wants to say Dead Rising 3, just because like that was next gen. I mean, you couldn't play that elsewhere.
Aside from like Rise, Forza, and Dead Rising 3, I think those are the only real like exclusive kind of games.
And that's kind of the problem, right? Because you look at it and you're like, well, Assassin's Creed 4, that was a pretty fun game. Like I really enjoyed that one, but
but it was also on 360,
playing it on a 360,
everything else, and I think I'm gonna have to say Dead Rising 3 because I haven't played any of them. I've played like 5 minutes of Dead Rising 3.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, actually.
That was about it.
I think I've played much of any of those, which is a bit odd because I got a day one console, so what was I doing with it?
I did too, but the launch of Xbox One was so incredibly underwhelming.
It really was.
Like, even for the entire first year of Xbox One was extremely underwhelming. There was, aside from Dead Rising 3, Rise, and Forza, that's it. There was basically nothing that wasn't on another even previous gen console.
I mean, Titanfall. I mean, that was what saved the first year.
Yeah, but even so, Titanfall still came out on 360. I think it came out later though, didn't it?
Later, yeah, but not a ton later, but it did come out later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, really, it was pretty weak launch.
Right. It was nice to have such a huge 360 backlog that I didn't feel pressured to get my one until like that.
No, I didn't even. I don't think I used it. I don't think I played a one game until months. And I mean, I launched the Twitch app and popped an achievement just because I wanted to pop an achievement. But like it was months before I actually played anything on the one. Oh yeah, I got day one achievement too.
There were periods where I was actually digging through my backlog on 360. I think there was something that had come out on 360 like in the weeks before the one came out, and that would basically taken all of my attention. And so when I got the one, all I wanted to do was finish this other game. So that's basically what I did. Right. I think I did sort of toy around with some of the titles, but I was really concentrating on the game that I was trying to finish. So
actually, so I just checked just to go back on the one. So the first real game I played on the one was Wolfenstein: The New Order, and that was at the end of May of 2014. So that's compared to when it came out in November, the end of November. So that's like 6 months I had it without playing any real games.
And that wasn't the June they started Games with Gold, right? That was the next year? Or was that summer? Was the Xbox One only 6 months old when they did Games with Gold?
I don't remember.
Or was it a year and 6 months?
I think it might have been only... I'm not sure. When did Watch Dogs come out? Because that was one I was really looking forward to on the one. It didn't quite live up to its hype.
That was June. That was June of that year.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first game I sunk a lot of time into on the one.
Yeah. It must have come. It must have been
2014 was Watch Dogs.
Because I was downloading all the Xbox One titles, just knowing that Christmas comes, I'd have 30 games to download or play. Cool. All right. Well, like I said, Urban, let's talk about your blog here.
Yeah. Well, apparently we can't spell facial Lafleur. So it's a facile la flui. Yeah. Le fleur.
French.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Anyway, it's the le or la in facial Lafleur is actually the feminine. So facial Lafleur, which is, if you don't know the reference, it comes from the movie Dodgeball. I'll let other people look that one.
I could have told you that.
Could you? Really? I think I had to tell you that.
I did. I mean, because I type his name a lot for contests and stuff, so I was quite familiar with it. Now, it turns out we also can't speak correctly and cannot pronounce One Up Dan's. We asked, hey, help us out. He tweeted at us to give us a pronunciation guide. He says...
Pronounce speaky wordy.
Who?
Speaky wordy thing.
Yes, speech and good. He says, hey, thanks for the shout-out. It's a lot easier than you're making it. Think true, but instead of true, you say prue with a silent L and a silent X. I don't know why you'd have so many silent letters on your name, but it is Prue, Dan Prue. One Up Dan. So thanks, Dan. I appreciate you clearing that up. I think I should just add a bunch of letters to my name that are silent.
The entire alphabet.
Yeah.
People be able to figure
or
it out,
actually
right?
symbols. I'm going to put like greater than, less than signs, and or I could just put part of my name now is going to be hashtag or semicolon open or close bracket. Like that'll just be part of my name now.
Just getting into a slightly nerd joke. One of the XKCD's comics did that. That somebody named their kid something like quote semicolon drop table student semicolon, which is a reference to a common SQL sort of hack attack, basically, to go in. And so the person signs up at school and it just goes and basically drops the entire database for students. It's a kind of a bit of a nerd joke, but yeah, pretty funny.
That's funny. Cool. Well, you had a conversation with McLovin. He responded to your comment about Elite Dangerous last week. Do you remember that game?
I don't even remember the conversation.
We were talking about that you wish you jumped on the game earlier, but we're, kind of, because there's no achievements associated with the game preview.
Yep. It's basically, he was agreeing with me about it, being a little bit sort of sad that we kind of pass these things up just because of achievements, but I guess that's sort of the nature of our niche, I suspect. But we always like to get gamer score for the amount of time we put in. For sure.
I guess you can kind of look at it the other way too, is we might pass some things up because they don't have achievements, but we may also discover other things that we wouldn't have otherwise played because they have achievements.
We play a lot of crap.
Like Roblox?
Yeah.
Oh, man, Roblox is a winner. But
I would never have played Stickbold. and I'm enjoying that time with my son. Like,
Yeah,
that's been fun.
The one that
I
always
wouldn't buy
comes
it
to mind
anyway,
for
the
me.
number of games if they didn't have achievements.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe probably not the weird, crazy imports, but some of them I would. But the one that always comes to mind for me is what could be my favorite game on the. No, I won't say it's my favorite. I don't know. It's close. Is Syndicate. I would never have touched or even heard of Syndicate if it didn't have achievements, because it was on sale. I saw it. I kind of read a little bit about it, said, hey, that sounds cool. And then I decided to play it, and it was a fantastic game. But if I wasn't going for achievements and just buying games for achievements, I would never have touched it.
Yeah, so it cuts both ways, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of games that I would never have picked up. But then there's also a lot of crap that I've played for achievements. So
Oh,
I guess
absolutely.
it's
I
just-
would never have done Gra.
yeah.
You know, but there's stories associated with that too. You know, even like those miserable experiences. Like, I will not forget Hannah Montana. You know, the movie, playing that game.
I just ordered that one the other day.
I mean, like, that's going to stick with me, and especially when TA automatically populates to Facebook and says that I completed it. And my buddy was like, what now?
You should probably turn that off.
Right? What do you, I did after that, but, you know, hey, what are you playing there? I'm sorry.
See, I should turn
You
that
know,
on.
it's funny.
Turn that on for Let's Cheer.
No, I was going to say I should turn that on for my my ratio dive that I'm going to do.
Right.
I got Monster High. I ordered Hannah Montana the other day, so I got those. Like, I got, My Horse and Me. I got Barbie, and all the goodies, and then I can just just complete like one a day and then see what happens.
No, you should preload them and then stack it, so you got like 10 of them.
just
Get it all at once.
Just get the 1 hour run where you complete 20 of them.
Yeah.
I maybe if I was going that far, I could track down Victorious and Let's Cheer and all those other goodies
yeah.
too.
That's
I've heard Victorious
absolutely.
is a good one.
Yeah, that's a classic. You can get all of the it was a really crappy musical movie and
High School Musical.
that one. And
Yeah.
there's like 3 of those games you could do.
There
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them.
I think so.
2 or
When
3.
did this happen?
They're singing. Aren't they singing songs?
There's 2 of them, I think, are singing ones, and then there's a third one which is
there is, too.
which is like a
There's-
dance sort of.
Well,
button
it
one
looks like there's
with them.
2: High School Musical 3 Senior Year Dance and Disney Sing It High School Musical 3. Huh.
And I think there's another one which is not quite. It's not a strict karaoke one. It's sort of a rhythm game kind of one. But yeah, or something along those lines. But yeah, they're
I
all
might need to track these down.
yeah, they're classics. Yeah.
They do seem like that's one way to put it is it's a classic. Barbie and her sister's Puppy Rescue. Oh, it's such a classic.
Instant classic.
You know, though, given your age when they did this, we're just going to think you had a bunch of your friends over from school playing. Like, that's it. You can't trick us. Urban. So it sounds like a lot of people are finally catching up with all of our episodes. I think that 4-hour episode really put people back.
Yeah, or they're or we've just had a lot of really long episodes. But yes, Lord Chibello and Arsenic and all those 2. They both caught up with or Lord Chibello basically caught up with all the episodes, and Arsenic reckons he'll never catch up. But he says that's it's a good problem to have. And that guy is it what XBXXLL BIG
88163.
3. I hate it when people do that. It's really hard to.
I know.
So
It's-
obnoxious.
It's so messy.
I wish he wasn't so leat.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
So anyway, that guy. I just said to listen to it on 20 times 24 speed. I responded by giving them the new 24-hour long episode, which is at www.nyan.cat.
There you
It's
go.
a very good episode.
Yeah, totally. You need to listen to the whole thing, though. There's something right at the end, just at the 24-hour mark.
And you
It's,
can't skip it. It knows if you skip.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, and we got a tweet or an email from on our contact@z2z.com email address, so thank you, Tatey. So Daniel Tate, he says, hey, did you guys know that the unicorn is Scotland's national anthem? Animal, not anthem. They might sing about unicorns, but it's definitely the animal. So I don't think Oregon is officially got the Sasquatch, but apparently Scotland officially has the unicorn.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm trying to think of other cool mythical creatures that would be
cool about Scotland, but that is so cool.
Yeah. Like I want to know which country has the griffin or like a chimera or the hydra.
Well, Canada's got the beaver.
The beaver.
Pretty majestic.
Well, U.S. has got that bald eagle.
The bald eagle is pretty good.
I'd like a griffin.
Australia has the drop bear.
The drop bear.
I had to look up a drop bear because I didn't know what it was.
Demons.
It's pretty excellent.
Yep.
Total demons.
You got to watch out for drop bears.
You have to watch out for everything in Australia because everything will kill you instantly.
Yep, it's the 2 feet wide spiders
that have venom that cannot be cured and will kill you in 2 seconds anyway.
It will kill you just by looking at it.
Yeah,
you bet it would. Facial chimes in on.
I swear everything in Australia. Just there's something about it. Like you look at it, you're like, oh, that doesn't look that deadly. Then you read about it, and like, yep, it is. It's
super deadly.
It's hidden.
So Facial chimed in on your blog there, Urban, regarding our boot camp.
Yeah, he suggested CNET Movie Night Mega Movies, which I had never heard of. It's an XBLA title, old one, 200 points. But it's one where you can basically play through the game in demo mode to get all the answers down and then knock out the achievements pretty quickly once you've bought it. So it's may or may not be something we could use for the boot camp. I'll have to see, but it can be done pretty quick apparently. So something to look at.
Absolutely.
And he also had a bit of a joke about when we were talking about some game. I think it was a spacey game, Elite. I think Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Rings a bell.
Yeah. Anyway, he kind of had a bit of a laugh about us talking about docking in that, and I won't go into the whys because that's not safe for work. But suffice to say, many lols were had. And last one was about the appropriate age to get started with achievements, so as in achievement hunting. And he said ideally never. But at the very least, post-college, he didn't get started till he was about 30. But if these things had have existed when he was in high school or college, his life would have been even more of a mess than it currently is. Cry emoticon.
Oh.
Achievements. Ruining people's school years all around, all over the world.
Well,
totally
I guess
is.
I started, back in high school, which is like yesterday. Because it was Saints Row. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
The first.
Yeah, the first. Because that was my first 1,000. But that was the first game that I really cared about achievements, which must have been like 9th grade or something.
Yeah.
So
I think the first game I actually really cared about getting all the achievements in was Burnout Paradise. I think that was my first serious 1K. I think I got a 1K in one of the CSIs before that, but Burnout Paradise was one I really worked on.
Perfect.
Began the bug. Anyway.
Oh, man. And it is a bug, isn't it? Well, that was it for our listener feedback this week. Thanks, everyone who chimed in. Again, if you want to reach us, you can get us at Twitter. That's at ZZZEDTOZED. Of course, email contact@ZZ.com. Private messages through our True Achievements site or the True Achievements leaderboard. Oh man, there's so many ways to get in contact. But yeah, it's fantastic. So thank you so much for everyone who's taken the time to reach out to the show, and all you new listeners who may or may not be robots. We'd love to hear from you too, even if it's bleep bloop blop. I'm sure that means something really awesome.
Even if you are robots, just download from Google Play or something because it's small. We can move up the ranks quicker over there.
There you go. All right, and before we get to the news, we want to introduce Jo. She came on to help us out with the news and feature content this week. So, Jo, it's good to have you.
Hi, it's good to be back.
Fantastic. So let's move into our news here. And Terrigan, I know this first item is near and dear to your very heart.
Sure is. This is still firmly in the rumor area, but it seems like a fairly strong rumor. Batman Arkham HD Collection for Xbox One is looking likely. So it's basically Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, potentially getting a re-release on Xbox One with new achievements and so forth. That's a full set with all of the DLC and everything. So I'm highly looking forward to that if it happens. And I think that'll be on Xbox One and PS4 most likely. But yes,
do you think that'll get the Metro Redux treatment, where you get like the two games bundled into one, and then you get each individual game, so that could potentially be 3 separate lists?
I don't know. That would be awesome.
Intriguing, huh?
It's add to the number of stacks that you can do for Batman Arkham Asylum.
Right.
Another 2. That'd be awesome. I think there's already there's 5 stacks for Asylum, I think. At the moment, 5. So that'd be another. So it'd be another. There'd be another stack at minimum, and another 2 would be kind of insane. But we'll see.
Now we're talking. Gamer score galore. Great. Well, yeah, we're going to need all those, because the other piece of news here is, so in a celebratory post by Microsoft, they said, hey, it's
10 years.
been 10 years, we did it. And by the way, we're stopping manufacturing of the 360. I hope you don't care.
Well, it was kind of
threw
after
that in
10
there.
years, too, because it had already been 10 years.
Right.
But
Yeah, so it was like, hey, 10 years of games and stuff.
we're celebrating in 10 years again.
By the way, we're not making any more of them.
So
But yay, 10 years.
they're done.
More
They're-
Xbox 360s.
no more new ones.
The first thing I did was nip on Amazon and go, right, how much would it cost for me to get a spare? And they're still fairly sort of expensive. And I guess with stock now not being produced, it's, it was a toss up. Do I just pay 200 quid and then I've got a spare just in case? Or,
I'm kind of
all
thinking
my
the same
games are
thing.
backwards compatible.
Just get a Japanese one.
There you go.
I don't want a Japanese one.
I know back in the day there used to be a Best Buy private auction where it would take like refurbished things or stuff like overstocks or whatever, and have like an eBay style auction for Best Buy employees and like friends. And so like I used to be bidding on stuff, and because the bidding was so low, like they wouldn't let you walk away with it at $25, but like you could win the bid at $25. Like that didn't hit the minimum, but it's like it was like $80 for I think maybe I got one for like 65, but then had to pay like 15 in shipping or whatever. But that's where I got my last Xbox, and it's like I should probably find one more to sit on, especially since this one in the basement here that was going to be my backup is red ringing. So I probably should have at least one extra.
See, I'm kind of thinking it's not going to be an issue, because like think of how many are produced. The Slims have almost no issues, and people are just going to keep trading them in, and I think it's going to be really easy to find them for years and years to come. I'm looking at even the original Xbox that did not have anywhere near the production run of the 360. Those are dirt cheap. And they were.
Well, yeah, it'd be a bit like, okay, go and find a PlayStation 3 right now, or even a PlayStation 2. It's very, very easy to go and find a very cheap PlayStation 2, and they're not being manufactured anymore. So I don't think it's going to be any trouble finding spares or extras. It's just there's so many out there.
And the thing too is
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of back stock, because there's going to they're going to be like warehouses full of them probably. I mean, I don't know for sure, but. And I don't expect the price to go up at all at any point in the future.
Not in the near future, that's for sure. I mean, you might see something
even in the distant future. I mean, look at like the NES. The NES is still, I think, $80 or something for a working one, which is sure a whole lot less than they were when they were new. I don't know how much they were, but I know they were more than $80.
Still seems like a lot of money.
No, it is like for what it is, but compare it, like say even if it was 200, which I'm sure it was more than 200, it's $80 now. So
And another piece of news that showed up this week is Platinum Games president Tatsuya Minami has stepped down from his role at the company. He's been replaced by Kenichi Sato, the executive director, according to Games Business Japan. It seems like a lot of this is related to how terrible Star Fox Zero was reviewed and is being received. But his departure, I'm not sure how this may or may not affect Scalebound, which is still being developed by Platinum Games. I guess we'll just kind of have to see. It seemed like this kind of came out of nowhere, but again, reading the tea leaves is that it's a lot of, kind of a look, Star Fox is a disaster. It was supposed to be great. You need to, take yourself out of this so we can change the brand, change the image. I don't know. But that's a bummer. I hate when that kind of stuff happens. So hopefully at E3 we'll get, like I said, I don't think it's going to be dramatic, any sort of implications to the existing projects, but who knows? Who knows? And then finally, another one of those LinkedIn pieces, but
LinkedIn's sure been having a lot of information pop up lately.
A lot of it in the news, yeah. I think people realize that how much information they can mine from it. They apparently now Remedy, who just released Quantum Break, has been working on their next project for about 9 months already. And this is according to 2 Remedy employees. Kyle Rowley, he's a lead designer who put on their his Remedy project, Untitled Remedy project, beginning August 2015 to present. So, lead designer that's, setting the stage there. And then Miko Ratulahiti, yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it, the narrative lead. And he very specifically put the last 3 months have been putting a story together. That was a quote from his LinkedIn profile. So, again, we know how long game development is, and Remedy will take every opportunity to put all the time they can into their games. They do not feel like they need to rush anything ever. But who knows what this means and what this project is. Perhaps Gamescom this year we get another teaser. Maybe Alan Wake 2. Huh? Well, what are we thinking?
I still haven't played the first one.
Yeah, I was going to say I still haven't played the first one, but I've got it now, so I can.
It's good.
I've still got to play Quantum Break too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'll get to it eventually. I don't have Gra as an excuse anymore.
Nope, you got to come up with a new one. You better just start Quake 4 or whatever.
Well, I did start Quake 4.
Oh,
after Elite Dangerous.
There you go.
It's like Quake 4 in space.
Oh.
Fantastic. Well, let's move into our feature content this week. Then it's I've called it "Toys to Life: An Intro to Mortgage Refinance" because this can be quite expensive, and hopefully we can steer you in the right direction as to how to best optimize the getting the gamer score in these Toys to Life and kind of our impressions on them overall. We'll kick it over to Joe, who is a Lego aficionado. I'm not sure you've dabbled in the others. I think you and I have not done the Skylanders at all. But yeah, take it away. What can you tell us about your Toys to Life experience?
Right. Well, when Lego Dimensions was announced, I was like, oh God, this sounds like such an expensive money sink whole thing. And I was like, I'm just going to skip this one. I'm going to skip this one. And then, of course, it came out, and then my birthday happened, and then Christmas happened. So I was like, well, it won't hurt to put, the starter pack and the level packs on my wish list.
It begins.
It began. So I got the starter pack for my birthday, and then I got and a level pack, and then I got the rest of the Wave 1 level packs for Christmas. And then yeah, so then I started playing it, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. It's like normal Lego game, except that instead of buying the characters with studs or unlocking them through completing the levels, you get the little minifigs, and then you put them on the pad and
Get to buy them with real money instead.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
these particular minifigs, like you can take the Lego figure off and play with them and do whatever you want with them. It's the base is obviously where the information is stored, and so if you do happen to have kids, like I know my son likes to play with his Legos and run around and take them. You don't need them you just need the base, although it does help to distinguish who's who. There are insignias on the base itself, so you know which one's Wild Style and which one's Batman and whatnot. But
yeah, you can tell which of the characters if you just have the base plates, but all the vehicles use the rewritable RFID chips because you can change the configuration.
Right.
I think it's RFID. So if you take the vehicle off, then you don't know which vehicle it is until you put it on the pad and it appears in the game.
Right.
But at least with Lego Dimensions, I don't know how it is with any of the other Toys to Life games. If you're just going for the 100% on gamer score, you just need the starter pack and then each of the level packs, which is slightly cheaper. There are, of course, 2 other 100% you can go for. One being buy everything, which is obviously going to be expensive. And the other is buy the minimum of packs possible to be able to 100% the game, as in collect all of the gold bricks and unlock all of the secrets. And there are currently 19 packs, I believe, of the 38 that are required for 100%. But because you can rent some of the characters, they introduced that for the Wave 1 characters. You can rent them. I think I can get away with not having to buy some of them. But I have most of those already because I decided I wanted 100% the game.
How do you rent them? Like in game, you rent them?
Yeah. You rent them with studs. You go up to the puzzle that, say, for example, is a cracked brick that requires Emmett from the Lego Movie's drill, or any character that can drill, and it pops up with this section requires a character with a drill ability, and then you get the chance to hire a hero.
Gotcha.
And then it costs prohibitively more studs each time you do it, to a maximum, I think, of 100,000 studs. But I mean, if you've been around a lot, it's not that many once you start collecting.
Right.
But they only last for like 30 seconds, I think.
Okay. Does it work like other Lego games where you can get the multiplier bricks for studs, and so you can just go and start a level and get like 1 billion studs in the space of 2 seconds?
Yeah, there's only one multiplier. You've got a ×2 multiplier on a red brick that you can get in one of the worlds. I can't remember which world has it in. It may not be one of the ones that you can unlock with the starter pack, but don't quote me on that one.
So the key is, now the way the game is broken up, right? You've got your starter pack. That's your base game. It's got a couple of guys. You cannot complete the base game as is there without grinding a ton of studs, it sounds like. The game.
No. Well, hang on. What do you mean by the base game? The base 1,000,
yes.
Or no? You can get the base 1,000 just with the starter pack.
Okay.
Those 3 characters and the portal and the Batmobile.
Okay, so you can
That's
do
all
everything
you need
then.
for 1,000.
Then each level pack, and the level pack contains a new, like essentially it's the DLC. You buy that, and those I think they're $30 US. Typically, I don't know how many
sounds about right.
quid that is.
It's 20.
20 quid. Maybe it's $25 US.
So it's about $99 Australian.
And then they also have the
Canadian dollars.
The fun packs, which are an individual character and a vehicle, and a team pack, which is a couple of dudes. And anyway, the team and the fun packs, no achievements with those.
No,
the level packs are the ones that have the DLC, the new level that you can earn achievements in. And,
that's right. You get the character, 2 vehicles or tools, and access to a completely unique level. excuse me, and obviously the world that the level pack is for.
Yeah, so that one can get pricey. Now, if you go on Best Buy, I watch them all the time. They are constantly on sale. A lot of buy one, get one half offs, a lot of, save, $10. You can get level packs for $20 almost once a month. If you're, particularly savvy about purchasing them here in the United States. So, yes, you can absolutely find them on sale. And the starter bundle has been on sale multiple times since its release this last fall here.
Yeah, I see that on sale. It's not that on sale, but it's like $20, $30 off.
Right. Yes. It's not like
constantly
clearance sales, but it is constantly reduced, 25%. Target will often run Cartwheel on these items, for 50% off or 25% off. So if you're out there purchasing them, wait for a sale. And they also make excellent birthday gifts for little kids. And so if you under the guise of your child playing the game, you can steer your guests to getting the level packs and maybe just, people will be more apt to buy $20 to $30 present versus, big significant packs of Legos. So anyway.
Another nice thing with them is they're cross-compatible on consoles.
Yes.
So if you want to stack it, you only have to buy the level packs one time.
Yeah, you do have to buy the starter pack.
You have to buy the starter pack twice, though, yeah.
Though the annoying thing is that the Portal is cross-platform compatible with like the Wii, PS3, and PS4, but you have to actually have the Portal for the 360 or the Portal for the Xbox One. Those are not cross-compatible.
That's
obnoxious.
It's something to do with digital signing of accessories, peripherals with Microsoft. Because I hoped that perhaps my Portal would at least be cross-compatible with the 360 and I just could buy the game off eBay or whatever. But no, I have to buy the whole starter pack again if I want to stack it, which I kind of sort of want to do, mainly because I'm trying to complete every single Lego game.
Thanks, Microsoft.
Right. So that's Lego. I'll jump right into Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity is, of course, the Disney product where you have action figures. There have been 3 games released for Disney Infinity. 1.0, 2.0 Marvel Superheroes Edition, and 3.0, which also ties in with the Star Wars world. The way the figures work, you have specific years for the figures. So you have year 1 figures, year 2, and year 3. Figures from year 1 can always go up to the next years. None of the figures from subsequent years can go backwards. So year 2 guys can't play in year 1. Year 3 can't play in year 2 or year 3. But you can take year 1 up to 3, year 1 up to 2. You need new portals each time. They don't move across, but the characters are interchangeable, and you can complete the base game with the box. You do not need all the other things. However, and I mentioned this earlier this year when I did Marvel 2.0, it is much, much easier if you have additional characters. So 2 reasons. One, each character unlocks a new set of feats. Feats are like in-game challenges that you can do. So, for instance, if you have a separate world, you will have feats associated with that world. There are enough feats in the base game to get the 90 that you need for the achievement. However, once you get past like the first 50 or 60, they start to get really specific and challenging and require a lot of grinding, like set up 500 logic connections or do this for however long. Whereas if you just bought a new guy, it would be like kill 25 guys with your, a fire arrow from Merida, or freeze 30 dudes with whoever, Frozone. Like, those types of things make life so much easier to complete. The second reason that life gets easier is each character you unlock will contribute to an experience bonus in the game. So even if you just put them on your portal to signify that you've owned them, so, and I guess I haven't necessarily tested this out because I don't know what the resale value is on if you get guys from GameStop or whatever. But if you take a bunch of dudes, just put them on your portal and load them into your game, you will incrementally increase your XP bonus, like 1% each guy you put on there. Maybe it's like 3%. I don't know how much per person, but you're unlocking your catalog essentially. And for however big your catalog is, I think right now I have like 15 to 20 guys, and I've got a roughly, I think, 7, 8, 12% increase in my XP. And so that helps out a ton when you're leveling your characters up to level 20. You need to get a couple of them for Marvel 2.0, a couple of them up to max level. The character levels do transfer over. So if you have a level 20 year 1 guy and you move him up to year 2, you will still be at level 20, and you have to reallocate your points, but you can get that achievement. The other achievements, so for instance, on 2.0, so I have Marvel 2.0 on the 360, and I bought it for the 1. Almost all of that you have to redo. Nothing carries over. Your profile doesn't carry over. You have to redo it each time. This is going to be the first year where they're not having a new release with Marvel, or with Disney, I mean. So Disney 3.0 was released last year. It'll remain the piece this year. There will be no Disney 4.0 on the docket. So these particular toys also are heavily discounted, just like the Lego ones. I've seen them remarkably cheap all over the place. The best types of characters to get are characters with ranged abilities. Makes life a lot easier when you're doing particular survival challenges. You don't have to get up close and worry about getting hit. So that's always kind of the way to go. Most characters all have some type of ranged abilities, but the characters whose primary attack is a ranged attack is the way to go. Other than that, it's not too terrible a completion. It can be a little time consuming, but not too bad.
Yeah, the just on these games, what is exactly is the gameplay like? Is it the way you're describing it? I imagine it's a little bit like how Project Spark plays in its kind of a beat 'em up kind of semi-platformy kind of game. Is that
pretty much? It's a 3D action adventure, almost primarily. So the Disney games are split into 2 sections. You have the toy box mode, which is a lot like Project Spark, where you have all your building tools and creation tools to make whatever you want. And I say whatever you want very loosely because, yes, you can set up logic connections. You can set up all sorts of really interesting things. I am not terribly creative and don't want to do that. But that being said, I created an XP machine using some blueprints on the internet. I made a machine that generates a monster, instantly kills him, and I collect all the orbs for experience. It's fantastic. You just sit there and just let it go for a while. There are, in the toy box mode, you can create outdoor levels and you can create indoor levels. Both of those will unlock achievements and in-game feats. And, my son loves it because you can just set up worlds where you can spawn random guys constantly, and he just sets up these big battle arenas, essentially, where he can just play and whatever. And you get tons of experience doing that. Secondarily, they have adventure modes. And so in the base game, we'll take Marvel 2.0, for instance. If you buy the Marvel edition, you will get 2 power discs that will have 2 different worlds in it. One is the Assault on Asgard, which is essentially a tower defense game, a 3D tower defense game, where your characters just have to fight off waves of bad guys trying to destroy this core. And then there's a Escape from Kiln 3D action adventure where you are in a prison, there's a procedurally generated level that you have to walk through, just bash dudes, and you have to do that like 10 different levels and just gain experience and get to the end. Nothing special in either one of those. And then they also have a survival, is it an endless mode? I think it's an endless mode, where you just constantly are getting a randomly generated level with bad guys, and the achievement for that one is getting to level 50, I think. That takes about 3.5 hours to do straight, and you can't pause it, you can't save it, you can't stop. So that's a commitment, but it's not terribly easy, not terribly difficult if you have a ranged character at level 20. I did it by myself with Star-Lord, and I was only using Star-Lord because if he dies, you can put a new character on the portal. So I had Iron Man lined up. I had all these dudes lined up, but I didn't need them. Like, Star-Lord was my weakest, level 20. I just don't care for his gun, and I ended up beating it with him. So it's not very difficult. It's just very time-consuming, and the game can glitch out sometimes. As it procedurally generates, it gets a little hairy. Finally, there are also then the level packs. And those level packs, so you could, like, for instance, Spider-Man. Spider-Man comes with Spider-Man, Nova, and the New York City level pack that Spider-Man's a part of. And so you can web crawl around the world and have a completely separate level of a story that is very Spider-Man centric. I think it's Hobgoblin and somebody else, causing mayhem, Venom, all these clones or whatnot. Yeah.
Do those level packs actually have achievements specifically tied?
They do not. Yeah, they do not.
So I couldn't see them in the list.
Yep, they're just for fun. Again, they all have separate feats, which count toward the base game, and they are very, very wealthy with experience. So, for instance, the Guardians of the Galaxy level pack, I went through and did a ton of level grinding in there, playing through the main quest lines to get feats, since you need to get 90, and I leveled up 2 characters doing it. So they're great for leveling up. They're great for getting the easy, low-hanging fruit in terms of feats as far as completion is concerned, but they do not add achievements. And Disney 3.0 follows suit the same way. You can buy level packs where you get a couple of characters in a new world, and you can buy individual characters that also work. So that is Disney, and it is just the base 1,000 with the base game, and that's the cheapest route you can go.
I notice there's a Windows 8 and Windows 10 versions of the Disney Infinity series. There's a toy box game on Windows 8, which was only 200 points, and I don't think
that one I played.
I don't think that actually requires a fig or anything like that, or the
no,
base.
it doesn't.
No, those are standalone.
And there's also Disney Infinity 3.0 edition on Windows 10. I don't know what the cross compatibility of the bases are like on that, though.
I don't either, actually. That one I can't answer. I don't know how the Windows 10 comes into play. If what the portal plugs in. I mean, it is US. Yeah, it's a USB. So it probably just plugs into your normal USB.
Yeah, I guess with the 360 version being locked to the 360, essentially, I wonder if the one version will work on Windows or not, or which one will work basically, because the 360 one I think is the one that's tied out.
Sure. So we've got Lego, we've got Disney. The last one, Skylanders. The first one. Actually, they started this whole mess. Thank you, Activision. Mm-hmm. Okay, you had something to add on Disney?
Yeah, on Disney, I played the Windows 8 version. So
Windows 8, not the Windows 10.
Yeah, Windows 8 version.
So that's the version. Toy box.
Oh, it can be done for free. The Windows 8 one. You don't need any figures. You don't need anything. You just have to wait for it to cycle the maps to get the ones you need. It's easier with figures, but it can all be done for free.
Nice.
At least it used to, assuming they still cycle them. But
that's my favorite.
Free.
Yes, free is always good. Sorry, I think I missed you saying this, Brandon. Did you say that if you've got like Infinity 1.0, then is there a portal or a playpad or something?
Yes.
Does that then work for 2 and 3?
No. So the
Right.
portals don't carry up, but the figures do.
Okay, because
Nope.
Because Damien was saying the other day that the portals do, just not across consoles. So if you have like a 1.0 portal for the 360, and it'll work for 3.0 on the 360.
I don't believe that's the case.
Oh, okay.
May do that on Skylanders, not all of them.
Skylanders is the opposite. You can have the highest portal, and it'll work as far back as you want. You just have to buy a new one every year if you're getting the newest Skylanders.
Okay.
that's cool. With Lego Dimensions, they've specifically said that anything that you buy in Season 1 will work going forward. So hopefully that means that they will release just the game for like the Season 2 when it is announced or whatever, and you can just use the same portal and characters.
And hopefully they actually kind of keep to that.
I really
'Cause
hope
who knows?
so.
They might decide. Well, because Skylanders, I think the first portal worked for Giants.
Yeah.
But then they're like, no, we're going to make a new portal every year. And they have done ever since Swap Force.
Yeah, Swap Force, Trap Team.
Yeah. Now they got Superchargers.
Yeah, we should just go through the list. I mean, it is a monstrous series right now.
I'm a little behind on my Skylanders. I've played the first one. I have the second one. I own the third one. Haven't played them.
Yeah, I picked up Spyro's Adventure, which I think's the first one.
Yeah, that's the first
I picked up Giants, and I got Swap Force. So that's like the first 3 on 360. And I also got the 2 bases and I think like 4 figurines. I think it cost me a total of like $25 Australian. So they had like a
Nice.
$5 each for the 2 earlier ones, $10 for the other one with the base, and buy one get one free on secondhand figurines. So yeah, it worked out pretty well.
It's a steal.
Yeah. Apparently, I need like some tree figurine or something like that to get the full 1K on Giants.
Oh yeah, you need. Yeah, I don't think it specifically has to be that guy. I think it's just any giant. You just
Right.
need a giant.
Okay.
And then another one, the one that's really good to have for the original Skylanders is Terrafin, because there's an achievement for not being hit by a laser during I think it's a boss fight or something. Because he can burrow under the ground and just go underneath all the lasers.
Ooh, sneaky.
So, and then I think other than that, the biggest thing with Skylanders is just quantity. You
Right.
can complete them all with the base games, but or like the base starter pack characters. But the more you have, the easier it's going to be on the more difficult playthroughs. Just because if you have 100 figures, then you essentially have 100 tries per level. Versus if you
100
have
lives, yeah.
2 figures, you have 2 lives. So, and then the thing with those two is the older characters all go forward. So you can go to the store and get super, super cheap old, like series 1 or Giants or something, like the first kind of 1 or 2 games for super, super cheap. And then just buy large quantities of them for less money.
Yeah. With things like Swap Force and so forth, they have like, I think the Swap Force actually has swappable character bits that you can use, and I imagine there's
this
achievements.
is the tops and the bottoms.
I imagine there's achievements tied to that, so you're going to need to have at least one of those figurines, I imagine. Or 2, actually, because you need to be able to swap between the 2.
Yeah, and the starter pack for Swap Force does come with 2.
Right, okay.
I think it comes with 2 swappable characters and then 1 regular character. I accidentally bought that one twice, actually, because I thought it was Trap Team, because I saw it at Best Buy. It was like $8. I needed something for free shipping, and it was $8. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to play it for a while, but whatever. Like, it was pretty much the same price as shipping would have been.
You bought your free shipping for $8. Okay.
Pretty much. Well, and then you get a free Skylanders, and then I realized it was the wrong one. I already had it when I got it, and I was like, well, it would actually cost me more money to send it back than it would to keep it. So I'll just keep it. But
Nice.
I think I can use the characters because I assume they all have unique IDs. So even though I have 2 of the same ones, I should be able to use them as extra characters. I'm thinking, hopefully.
Maybe.
Maybe. I haven't tried yet. I got to start that one. I got to finish the first Skylanders first.
Yeah, and I imagine that the portals are not cross-compatible again with Xbox One and 360.
No, they're not. But if you have the highest, like the newest portal, it'll work as far back as that console goes. So if you have a Superchargers portal on 360, that'll work all the way back to Spyro's Adventure.
It's really,
and anything
it's
in
really
between.
odd that it works that way because you'd think it would go the other way. And it's funny that I think what Lego Dimensions kind of goes the opposite way, that the older ones will work forward but not backwards. And
Yeah, actually, let me clarify the Disney Infinity one, because IGN put together an awesome compatibility guide that we'll put in the show notes here. But so the bases, like we were talking about, they're completely forward and backward compatible. So you can so if you have Disney Infinity 1.0, that will work on the 2.0 game with the 2.0 characters, only on the console that the 1.0 is for. So it's only it's console specific, not generation specific. So that's confusing. Not game specific. So the 360 will work on the 360 for 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. But the 360 will not work on the Xbox One. But Xbox One will work on 2.0 and 3.0, where the games have been released. So though the bases are compatible, the play sets, the different levels, those are game specific. So if you have a Star Wars play set, that has to be with the Disney Infinity 3.0 game set. That I hope that doesn't come as a surprise, but that is the case. And then also some of the levels, for instance, on Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy, like Rapunzel can't go into Guardians of the Galaxy. Those are character specific levels. There are in game the ability to unlock other characters. So, for instance, the Avengers playset, you can run through and collect Rocket Raccoon tokens so that Rocket Raccoon can show up in that game. But otherwise, he's locked out of that content. And then, of course, non-characters, you don't have that option. You can't find... in Star Wars, I'm guessing you cannot find Olaf tokens so that Olaf can get a lightsaber and fight off the stormtroopers or whatever.
That would be awesome if you could do that.
You could do it in Toy Box. You can give him in Toy Box, you can make a Star Wars world and give Olaf a lightsaber for sure. But he can't be in part of the play set, the pre-made levels for you.
Well,
So yeah,
that's
if
kind of sad because that's totally the opposite of Lego Dimensions. You can have Gandalf in the TARDIS in the Portal universe.
right.
which is just awesome in a lot of wrong ways.
Yeah, I had Batman riding around on K9, shooting the winged monkeys in the Wizard of the Wizard of Oz land world, which was just I love K9 because I just sort of ride him around going pew 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 pew, even though it doesn't technically make that noise. It's just really cute. But yeah, no, it's the whole point of Lego Dimensions is cross-universe stuff, so it's obviously the opposite concept of Disney Infinity there.
Right. So, Terrigan, how is your Skylanders experience? Have you started any of them yet, or you've just been collecting a bit? Yeah.
They're still in their secondhand bag that I got from EB Games with them, but they're added to my collection. But no, I have not yet actually plugged them in.
Okay.
I've been playing too much Elite Dangerous.
But you're not keeping them in the box for posterity or anything.
No,
right?
no.
They're a collector.
I think one of mine is still sealed, but I don't intend to keep it that way. I just haven't started it, so I haven't bothered opening it.
Fantastic. Well, so Skylanders, then you can complete each base game by itself. So now, how many base games are there? We should probably look at that series.
There's a lot.
I mean, it's unbelievable, right? You've got Superchargers, Trap Team, Swap Force, Giants, and then the original, right?
Yep. So
the original has characters to it? Spyro's Adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's five games. 5 games on 360. There's 3 games on One.
Yeah, so Swap Force, Superchargers, and Trap Team are all stackable.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
So 8,000 gamer score there available.
Man, I guess we should probably... So the Lego Dimensions, is that only an Xbox One?
It's on the 360 as well.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, I've seen that. I'm glad my son didn't want that one, too. And Disney Infinity...
Like I said before, you get to double dip on all the DLC packs, though. Just have to buy the starter twice. That
is true. The Disney Infinity series is... Yeah, you've got the normal 2.0, 3.0, and the 2.0 and 3.0 both have 360 and Xbox One versions. The traditional is just Xbox 360.
Yeah, and you've also got the standalone toy box on Windows 8, and 3.0 is on Windows 10 as well.
Yep, there you have it. That's a lot of versions.
Yeah.
Lots of gamer score.
I gotta complete that myself. Cool. Anything? So, what do we like? Toys to Life? I mean, they're expensive, but we buy DLC. We do stuff like that. Do you guys enjoy this type of game?
I think they're better value than most DLCs. Just because, like, you can, maybe it is just one character, but you can use that character on any platform, at least with Skylanders. Like, you can take that, I can play on my 360, take it over to my friend's house that has a Wii, play on there, then play it later on I think you can even use them on handhelds like DS. And that's pretty cool. And you can also use them in any of the future games, which is also cool. So, they are kind of expensive if you buy them new when they first come out. But, if you wait a couple years, accumulate some, it's not so bad. And I don't know, they're kind of cool.
I agree. I mean, it's kind of obnoxious that they take up a lot of space. I mean, you gotta have a home for all these. Like, I've got a shoebox that is, it's kind of taken over a pretty significant portion of my gaming area.
I think I've seen the picture of Joe's collection.
Yeah, I bought a specific crafting box for mine, so it has room to expand.
Yeah, but the games are fun. I mean, 3D action adventures. Lego plays just like a Lego game. Disney 3D action adventure, Skylanders 3D action adventure.
Yeah, Skylanders is a lot of fun.
Slight puzzle elements, but what's also great is the co-op angle, right? So I play with my son, and my daughter could play too, and they have a really great time with it. And
I was actually going to ask something about that. For playing co-op, how does that work when you've only got a single base? Do you need like 2 bases to have 2?
No, you just put 2 figures on the same base.
Yep.
Okay.
It's seamless. You just throw it in, then you pick up another controller, press start, and you can both play. That was actually how I first played Skylanders. Was at my my wife's little cousin. We were babysitting him, and I had never played Skylanders. He's big into Skylanders, so we started playing. I was like, man, this game's fun. So then I went and bought Skylanders, and then I continue to buy them when they get really cheap because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on them.
Right. And the nice thing too is like they're designed for kids to be manhandling them. So like they'll come up, you can kick a guy right off the portal and it doesn't shut down gameplay if you're single player. It just turns the second player into a ghost until they put a new figure on there and you can swap out like crazy. And to Crandy's point with the Skylanders having, giving you extra lives per se, Disney Infinity is the same way. If you're doing a mission and one of your guys is incapacitated, you take him off of the portal and put a new character on the base and you just pick up where you left off. And so, yeah, each additional character gives you more opportunities to go deeper into levels or their survival mode. But yeah, it's very seamless, drop in, drop out. Both characters can earn achievements on this. if they're set up to, I think.
So, as in, they've
but-
both got both signed into profiles and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how, if my
The
son
first one
unlocks it.
specifically says a lot of them specifically say primary profile. I don't know
Okay.
if that's all of them.
Okay, so it might be game specific.
Yeah, it looks like all of the main game achievements. No, actually, every achievement is primary profile only.
Yeah,
but it does.
because I'm
it does
thinking now too. My
explicitly
son,
state
if he
that in the achievement descriptions, though.
Yeah, because if he puts a level 20 character on his side, it doesn't count for him. So yeah, they're all. So I misspoke. They're all primary profile only, for Disney at least. So you're confirming that as well for Skylanders.
I don't know about every Skylanders game, but I'm just looking at Spyro's Adventure.
Yeah, probably is then. They don't tend to change that, which is kind of a boo moment. It's kind of a how to ruin achievements.
That the Lego Dimensions ones might be sort of like with the standard Lego games that both players earn achievements. I have to confess, I've not actually tried it. The only time I've played Lego Dimensions with someone else was with my mum, because she was like, "Hey, I want to see what this game is that I bought you for your birthday." So we played through the Simpsons level, the extra one that came with the level pack, because I figured that's going to be not so much with the fighting. And it was actually quite fun. I was very patient with her because it's really tricky to get a hand of controls if you've never played a game before.
Right.
But we managed to get through the whole level, and I unlocked the achievement. She obviously doesn't have an account, but that was really cool there.
Just looking at the flags on Disney Infinity, it looks like the all the achievements are actually co-op plus, so they will unlock for somebody who's playing in co-op with them.
Oh, that's
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think with level 20, you have to actually, for it to count toward the achievement, I think you actually have to level the character up yourself. You can't just borrow someone else's.
Yeah, it's
I'm
linked
not
to your
exactly
account.
sure how that works, but yeah, like you can't just, go out and borrow your friend's 3 level 20s, throw them all on your portal as
Correct.
when you're
no,
signed
they're
in.
they're tied to your account. But like, for instance, when I took a level 20 Rocket Raccoon and put him into the Xbox One version, he was level 20 when I showed up there, and he's level 20 when I show up to Star Wars. So
Interesting.
But does that count toward your achievements in future games?
I got it on the one right away. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that because it's
Yeah.
linked to your gamer tag?
Yeah, is it a gamer tag thing, or
Correct.
does it actually store in
Yeah.
the fig itself?
I believe it's gamertag related.
Right.
That that my profile has a level 20 Rocket Raccoon or whatever.
Do you have to log in with a Disney account for those ones? Like you do on
Yes.
PC? Okay.
Yes.
That might be where it's.
I'm guessing it's probably the Disney account that stores it then.
Yeah, and that brings up that,
something
that
we
grey area of logging into other people's Disney accounts, but we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Something you were
Set up an
mentioning
Australian Disney account.
was that you could put on different characters to get extra lives. Are there any other uses where does the portal have any other use other than getting characters into the game for like Disney Infinity and Skylanders?
So Disney Infinity, the portal has your 2 character slots and then a hexagonal. It's not a perfect hexagon, but it's a hexagonal shape where you could put the play set or power discs, and the power discs are like in-game changes. So like you can, if you load in a power disc, it will could give you new textures, could give you new weapons, but those are then loaded into your game and you can remove those. You don't need them to play, but the play sets fit in there. Other than that, that's it. It's they got the 3 slots.
Are there achievements tied to the power discs or anything like that?
Nope. All cosmetic or just kind of add-on things that are just kind of for fun.
Yeah, because the cool thing with Lego Dimensions is that the portal is actually part of the game. Because obviously the you go into the game and it gives you instructions on how to build the portal after you've gone through the intro. So it sort of stops and brings up the actual Lego booklet. And you physically build the portal, and then as you progress through the game, you put different bits on different things as you unlock stuff. But additionally, there's space for 7 characters or vehicles, which are split into 3 segments. One large circle which only fits 1 character, which is also where you put the vehicles to write to the tags, and then 2 sets of 3. But some of the puzzles involve actually swapping characters on the portal. So in the very first level, you're fighting the Wicked Witch, and she will paralyze your character, and anyone that's on that segment will also be paralyzed. So the only way to get past that bit is to move your character to a different segment. They're also got different colors, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that's literally linked to the placement of the character on the portal. I think it's an amazing way of sort of bringing that in.
Yeah, Skylanders doesn't have anything like that. They just have the up to Trap Team. They just had, it was just one surface. You put a Skylander on there, it goes into the game. That's it. Then Trap Team added trap slots, I think. So it's just the same thing. You just put the trap on it, and then it just sits there. And then
the way that
I think that's the same for. I think that's it.
The way that Lego Dimensions works actually really reminds me of. I think it was the very first Metal Gear Solid with the whole plugging your controller into the second slot to get around the mind control of one of the characters. I don't know if you guys know that one. But yeah,
I've heard of that, but I've never done it.
I think it's one of the bosses. I think it's like the second boss or something like that, and he's really fast and he knows exactly what you're doing. But the trick was to actually plug your controller into the second slot, and then he sort of freaks out and says, "Oh, I can't read your mind anymore," and you can hit him more easily. So there's it's a well-known sort of outside the box kind of.
That's cool. Yeah, I like stuff like that where it brings a new aspect to the puzzles. Makes you kind of have to actually think about them a little more.
Yeah, it's super creative. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, great for kids and things to play with your kids. I have so much fun.
Big kids too,
and for big kids. But I mean, they're great action adventure games and relatively easy games. They're time consuming. But you just relatively easy to go through and collect everything. They're spelled out pretty well. Lots of help menus and items out there to facilitate getting your gamer score.
And for the older ones, it sounds like you can generally get them fairly cheaply.
Fairly cheap, absolutely. Great. Well, so there's Toys to Life. Let's move into our closing segments and wrap this thing up. This week is Shovelware Cemetery Week, so Crandy is going to regale us with a couple of games.
All right, we're here with this week's Shovelware Cemetery. Today we're covering Party Hard and Soda Drinker Pro. Here with Damien / Spazpole. He's played the game, so we're going to have a little discussion on them. We're going to start with Soda Drinker. We're going to start with my usual negative Nancy self. Start with the bad news. So, Soda Drinker Pro. What did you think, Damien?
Well, I will say I had to get a second opinion. I personally am not a big soda drinker in life. I've cut down dramatically, though I drink a lot of sparkling water and seltzer. So I had to get an opinion of an 8-year-old. So I had Yellow Lego Guy perform a second opinion, and we both came to the same conclusion. This game is awful.
It really is.
The joke, the beginning levels, again, run it by an 8-year-old. How do I control this? What am I doing? Wait, what? And it's press the left trigger, and that will hold up the soda. This drawing's really bad, Daddy. I can draw better than that. I know. It's part of the joke, buddy. It's part of the joke. And then you can probably a trigger. And so he maybe made it through 9 levels, each progressively worse, dumber. I don't know. It was...
It's abysmal. We'll put it that. Like, I think before we even talk about it, we can both agree that this is buried so deep. Like, this is probably the most buried of any of the games we've done so far.
We bury it only because it's toxic, but the effort we would take to dig the hole feels like more effort than what the game gave.
It really does. It does. I don't know. I feel like we're almost talking about it too much.
We are.
Um,
So let's
okay,
start.
so I'm going to start on my list. As always, I make a list. So lots of negatives, very, very few positives. So loading times. You would think a game like this, there's basically what you do is you load a level, it plops you in a little tiny room. It's very obviously a room. It's just a box. You're in there. And actually, I did in high school, which I'm still in, by the way.
Yeah.
I had this class where we learned animation in like 3 weeks. We did like a really, really basic animation. Like, I'm pretty sure the box that I did with lighting and objects and movements looks better than Soda Drinker Pro does. I think we'll have a link to that in the show notes. I'm pretty sure I have it on YouTube still. It's pretty terrible, but it's just a good comparison because I think it took me like 3 weeks in class for like an hour a day to do that. So yeah, loading times, abysmal. Just I don't even understand how this game has loading times that long. There's nothing to load. The levels are empty. They're empty. There's nothing in them.
When I was doing some early when I was switching majors a lot in college, I did some early 3D design CAD modeling courses and rendering. And it was amazing how long it would take certain things to render because you're like, wow, I didn't realize these animations were so big. And I guess it's that idea of because everything is hand drawn and the way he's probably modeled it and used shaders, there was no way he stripped it down to what it should have been. It's almost making a huge 500-page document to describe the Eggo waffles you made.
Well, I guess the other thing too is this will come to my next point. The game is 5.5 gigs, which is absurd. Why is this game 5.5 gigs? And it's probably like you're saying, he didn't do anything to shrink it down to a smaller size. He just whatever, just throw it all in. It'll be overburdened and bloated. Who cares? Soda Drinker Pro. That adds to the joke, right? We'll just try even harder than we're already trying, which is another point. This game tries harder than anything I've ever seen. Like it's not in a funny way. It's in a really, really horrible way.
Could we have played it like Hotel Blind and just seriously just had it been a dark screen? That would have been an improvement.
Would have been better. Yeah. It really would have.
But that's
so another thing. 3 years in development. 3 years. 3 years. Why? There's nothing changes in the box. Okay, I spoke too soon with the box. Now there are bonus sodas that do absolutely nothing in the boxes, and some of them have like a cactus or something. Like there's just another object or like a chair, but they're not extensive objects. The rooms are not large. So
well, as you said, 3 years in development, but that's like you having to repeat that last year of high school over and over. Just kidding.
But I mean, I guess 3 years in development too. I think you mentioned this before. We were kind of talking a little bit about it before recording. Where, I mean, I could say Big Rigs is 9 months in development. Haven't been working on it it was 9 months ago when I started working on it, but I haven't been working on it for 9 months. So I don't know if that's the case. But Soda Drinker does have more, at least, I don't know if it's more than, I didn't get far enough because it was just torture. I got to about level 35. There are 90 levels. Objective in the level is exactly the same. So the objective in every level is just to drink a soda. It takes about a minute to drink a soda. And once you drink the soda, you go to the next level. That's it. It's done. Do that potentially more than 90 times, and that's the whole game. That's it.
So let's do a little bit of a spoiler because this game.
Whoa. Don't want to spoil anything. It's a pretty intense story.
Well, there's no secret, though. You almost have to have watched any of his commentary to let you know there is actually a game within the game. Because if you didn't know about the second game that Soda Drinker Pro is masking, I would want to say this would be the worst thing ever, but again,
I actually think the fact that the game is inside of Soda Drinker Pro actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to make a joke game. It's another thing to hide a game that could have actually potentially been interesting inside of that stupid, horrible, terrible joke game that's not a game. So the hidden game is, of course, Vivian Clark, which is really weird, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Vivian Clark, believe it or not.
Knowing how you play games ironically, yes, I do believe it.
Well, it's not even in an ironic way, it's kind of along the lines of the really weird stuff that I like. It's just there's something about there's no, you don't know what you're doing. You're just thrown right into it. There's kind of like weird mini games with this really weird art style that's kind of like the bad art style of Soda Drinker, but not quite. It's a little more polished, so it kind of goes from really horrible, weird, like watercolor paintings or something to this kind of weird thing. It's very weird, and I've never played anything like it before. But I actually really like this, like the music in Vivian Clark. Just it's this kind of weird, like kind of like surreal sounding thing that kind of goes with this weird, like surreal environment. But I couldn't bring myself to actually play it because I was so frustrated that it was hidden inside of Soda Drinker Pro. So the fact that it was inside of Soda Drinker Pro actually ruined the experience of Vivian Clark, which is a game that I would have actually liked to play on its own, as its own game that's a proper game.
So I think Vivian Clark, again, I had to ruin it for my 8-year-old and show him where the hidden levels were. As an adult, I think or a high school teenager, there's a part of that game where it caters a little bit more to a more, I guess, mature, I hate to say it as that term, but audience. As an 8-year-old going into Vivian Clark from Soda Drinker Pro was a hot mess is really the best way I think I could describe it. It was, if I had bought this game for him, it would have been calling Microsoft, please refund my money. But to your point, as somebody going in, okay, hey, there's a challenge to this. There's elements of mini games and some parts platformers, some parts shooters with be it crudely done, but definitely more effort put into the artwork on this than that had been done into Soda Drinker Pro. There was something that had potential, but then you go back to, it's been 3 years in development. It's 5 gigs. We're on an achievement related thing, and the achievements are broken.
Yeah, so there are 3 Vivian Clark achievements, I believe.
Yep.
For buying the pages and then for completing Vivian Clark. Now, to complete Vivian Clark, there's kind of this like overall world that you're in, and you see it's like a graveyard of picture frames, and they're empty.
Yeah.
And when you complete certain goals, you're not told what they are inside of the mini games, that you're not really told how to get to or how to complete. And part of that is actually kind of what drew me into it. Is it's just so weird. It's not punishing. It's not super difficult. And it's not like you're wandering aimlessly. It's just really weird and kind of this experience. But it's so, and like you said, it caters to a more mature audience in a game that is in the mask that caters to the most immature of audience, Soda Drinker Pro.
Yeah.
People that would play a game like Soda Drinker Pro or Goat Simulator, because I put them in the same category, I was actually blown away. Soda Drinker Pro, I now hate more than Goat Simulator.
Oh, I will say Yellow Lego Guy loves Goat Simulator, hates Soda Drinker Pro. He doesn't really like Roblox, but there are levels that he likes playing within Roblox. Soda Drinker Pro, he was...
No redeeming features for Yellow Lego Guy.
He didn't even put it on his tag. He played it on Mommy's tag. He didn't even want to be.
And that's another thing that's just like, okay, maybe if it was like a goofy game inside of a stupid game, okay, but it really doesn't feel like that's what it's supposed to be. I kind of lost my first point about the achievements not working. I don't remember what I was going to say with that, but Yeah, they don't work. That's another thing. Apparently, there's a patch that's coming out or something, but who knows? Yeah, so that's kind of it for me on Soda Drinker / Vivian Clark. I'm very frustrated with it. If Vivian Clark was ever released as a standalone game, I would revisit this segment, and I would probably play it extensively because it's something that interests me, but not as something that is within Soda Drinker Pro because I think it's a stupid idea. I think it's bad. It's bad. Buried by me. You have any closing comments, Damien?
Yeah, let's just bury this and get on to something better.
Okay. So the next game we both played was Party Hard, which much better experience than Soda Drinker. So what did you think of it?
Oh, well, and I think maybe just to say one thing first, one of the things I think in terms of reviewing even these two titles, they're both within the relative same price point. So it's not like we're taking Party Hard and saying, here's a $40 AAA title. It's almost, here's about the same amount of money you can spend. How to spend it wisely.
And I think that's a good point, too, is when we talk about games on Shovelware Cemetery, we don't like to, we kind of base what we're saying on the price point of the game. So if it's a $60 game and it's like Soda Drinker Pro, we're going to tear into it even more than the $9.99 or equivalent price point of Soda Drinker Pro. So we're not rating these games like the AAA titles. We're rating them how they're priced. Yeah. So the lower the price, the more forgiving we're going to be. I mean, it's still going to be an honest opinion. Just obviously, when you release a game at say $5 or $8 or $10, you obviously don't expect the same content or quality. I mean, not necessarily. I guess even quality you would expect decent quality, but not the same amount of content as something like Grand Theft Auto 5. That yes, it's a $60 game, but you're also getting far more content out of that investment. So with that, we'll move on to Party Hard, which is priced at $13 or regional equivalent, just as a benchmark. And
being a fifth of the size of what we just reviewed, I played this game actually. I played a demo of it a year ago at PAX 2014, and it was one level, and I was automatically hooked. It was this: you're in a party, try to kill people, don't get caught. Okay, that's all I had to go with. And so the game is re-released now. Now there's more levels to it, but the premise, and there's more of a story put around it, but it is, in essence, that, and it's easy in the sense of it hooks you in. It's not complicated to figure out the controls or just the idea, and it's addictively fun. And the levels, you can get through them in under 10 minutes, and I find myself, I know you maybe ran through this a little bit better. I would get to the level and out of 50 people get down to 49 kills and then get busted on that last kill, and I'm like, I could do this again. It was really hard to put down the control on this. I like this game. I love this game. It's right up my alley.
So yeah, for me, playing the levels, I wouldn't get that. Usually what I would do is I'd kind of blow it right at the beginning over and over again until I got a really good strategy down, where I would kind of wait in a corner or kind of around the side of most of the buildings, usually somewhere I could dump the bodies. And I'd just wait for people to kind of wander out. And then as the crowd thinned, I would get a little more ambitious, or I would wait for a couple people to wander off and kind of in a corner or out of sight, I'd stab them both and then kind of go blend back in with the crowd and then let the cops find them and then kind of repeat. So there would be a lot of body bags around my dance floors. Because that's a strategy you can use too. You don't have to hide them. You just can't be seen with them. Yeah. So if they just find a body, they'll call the police, but the police won't identify you because nobody saw you do it.
Yeah. So maybe for a point of clarification for people that haven't seen any of the screenshots. So it is a top down, you have a map, be it like it starts out, you're at a house party. Second level was Oh, where was that? That was
It
the
was
ranch,
another
the
house
barbecue.
party. So the first level's the barbecue, the second level's a house party, then you go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And there's other levels like a party bus, there's a boat. The party bus is kind of a freebie because they
Is it the
can't
desert
really
bus?
do anything. Yeah, it is. And yeah, all kinds of there's lots of different variety in levels, which was nice.
But you have X amount of people on screen, usually between 50. I know, I'm not sure for some of the later levels, but you would have 50 people, and
I think the most I got up to is like in this low 70s.
Yeah. And you need to kill all of the people at the party and not get caught by the cops. And you get to roam around the map and you find creative ways. And there's some environmental, quote unquote, environmental kills you can do in addition
you can
to
lay traps.
Yep.
And I guess the context of the game is you're a guy who just wants to get some sleep. So he's got a loud house party on instead. So, he's sick of it. He's at his breaking point, and you go in there and you're just like, okay, I'm going to kill everyone because I need some sleep. And so they kind of just throw you into that story, and they don't really need much of a story to get you into that, because it's like, a lot of people have been in that situation. You're like, oh, this is a loud party. This is really annoying. I just want to go kill them all. So it's really kind of easy to get in the mindset of that character. At least I thought it was. And then there is a story that I feel like was the perfect amount. It's very brief in between each level. There's maybe a 30-second cutscene. That's not really a cutscene. It's just kind of some dialogue between an officer investigating this series of what is called the Party Hard murders, and you're talking to another person about them. And I won't give any spoilers because there's a little twist, but I liked it. It was kind of the perfect amount of story to go with a game that's really heavily based on gameplay.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good summary. And yeah, it was not very hard to understand, very easy to get into, and I do like in a lot of these new titles now, it's something you can play for 10 minutes. Oh, I'm going to just try for this level real fast, and then you just can either get sucked into it, play for a half hour, or you can just play for 5-10 minutes and kind of get something out of it.
Because really, if you've kind of mastered the levels, it's realistic to say that you could beat any given level in about 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. If you did it on one run. So, I mean, technically you could beat the game in like 40 minutes or something. But for me, I think it took me about 12 hours to get the full 1,000 gamer score. So it's a pretty quick completion, but it's not super, super quick. And there's not a lot of grinding to be done. You have to launch the game 100 times, which was annoying. But aside from that, the achievements were pretty fun. They weren't really impossible. A lot of them came naturally, and the ones that didn't were just kind of side objectives that made you approach the levels in a different way. That was quite fun.
Yeah.
So I have a couple other notes too, of just kind of little things. I mean, that's kind of the premise of the game. It's fun. There's not a whole ton to say about it because essentially every level is the same. It's just the same thing on a different map and a different setup. So I really enjoyed the 5-inch floppy disk for the saving icon. I like that a lot. I really like the music as well. I thought it kind of fit the time period that this game was supposed to be taking in, which I kind of think was supposed to be like the kind of late 80s, early 90s, because people don't have cell phones. They're all like home phones, and just there's a few other things that kind of I can't remember off the top of my head that kind of made me set it in that period.
I'll say it's playing in the background right now for me, just the title screen, and it's this music is not bad. It's catchy.
Yeah, and it kind of fits the thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, like electronic kind of party kind of music. I really like that when you at the beginning of there's 5 different characters to pick from. You unlock them in various ways, and I really like that it says hero select when you pick a character. So I thought that was kind of funny. And there's just kind of like clever things when you kill people. It's also very gory. It's very like 16-bit gory because it looks like a Super Nintendo game. It sounds like a Super Nintendo game, and it plays like a Super Nintendo game. And I think they were going for that, and they did it very well. So there's things like when you throw someone's body off the boat, a shark jumps out of the water and eats them. Just kind of fun like that. It also has zombies. I don't know if you've made it to the zombies yet, but there are zombies, and they will infect an entire party. So you can use zombies to assist you in kills. The voice acting on the cutscenes is kind of cheesy, but I think they were kind of going for that. I think it was intentional, not. It's just bad voice acting.
Yeah. Oh, on the dialogue pieces in between when you're going and he's
I kind of think that's what they're going for, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it was the one question I have to go back and check. I accidentally skipped over some by accident because it has that if you press a button while you're not paying attention. So I want to go back and see some of them. So it was funny, the dialogue between of it, but yeah.
And it'll make more sense as you progress too.
Yeah.
But now it's not all perfect. There were a couple bugs, very minor bugs. Now on the last level, I thought it had glitched out on me because I killed everyone I could see, and it still said I was missing one person. So I was like, well, where is this person? How do I find this person? So it turns out they're hidden in they're like sleeping or something, and they never wake up and move. And they're hidden behind one of the objects in the level. So I had to look it up online because a lot of people, I thought it was a bug. I thought the counter was off or something. Mm-hmm. And it turns out they're just hidden in a place you can't see, which I thought was annoying. And it's the only level that happens, and there's absolutely no indication they're there. So I had to look it up online to find out where that last person was. Fortunately, it was very easy to find online, and then once I found them, it was easy. But that was a little bit annoying. And also, sometimes when you're carrying certain bodies, they just flail around like crazy. So I'm not sure why that happens. It doesn't affect gameplay. It's just really weird. So there's a couple little bugs, but nothing. I had a couple other bugs. I don't remember what they were too, but they're pretty minor. Nothing game breaking, that's for sure. So yeah, I think this one we're gonna have to send it off to the Sanctuary, at least for me. It's definitely worth the money.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I would definitely want to I would set this one free. I liked it. On some of the glitch things, as you said, I haven't even seen those on the experience. So
yeah, and they only happened a couple times, mostly in a couple levels in particular. It seemed extra bad, but not terrible.
Yeah, maybe not because you've completed and I haven't. That might be some of it. But yeah, as it's gone through, I think very solid. And for the price point, yeah, I would
definitely for the
set
price
this
point
to the Sanctuary.
All right, sounds good. Well, that concludes our Shovelware Cemetery this week. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Those sound like a lot of fun. and now we'll move into Knobs and Discos, our unobtainable and discontinued achievements news. Crandy, what do you got for us?
Well, we got a few discontinueds this week. Well, there's some good news too, I guess. So first one, the 2 challenge-related achievements in Halo 4 are discontinued. There are no new challenges appearing. So that's unfortunate, because Halo 4 isn't really that old.
And 343 haven't really been responsive on that, so I'm not sure if it's something that you can sort of maybe, if enough of us hassle 343, they might turn that on. What I'm curious about with that, though, is in the Master Chief Collection, I think they've got the same challenges as achievement for Halo 4, like the Halo 4 that's released on that. So I'm not sure exactly how that works and if they're still working. I presume they are. But,
yeah, and through Halo 4's life too, 343 has not been very good about the achievements. There were all of those issues with them being stuck, locked, and things, and they were very slow to respond.
Yeah, although to their credit, they did essentially switch it so that as soon as you logged into the game, those ones unlocked if you were barred from them. Those are the DLC ones.
It's I don't know. I feel like that's kind of it's better than no fix, but it would have been nice if they kind of actually got fixed, but oh well. Next is Connect National Geographic TV and Sesame Street TV. Both of those basically have been shut down. If you have part of the episodes will save locally when you buy them. You can't buy them anymore. If you already had them bought and partially downloaded locally, you can play a bit of some of the episodes, but the vast majority of those games are discontinued now. I won't list all of them, but yes, there's a lot.
That won't affect the DVD versions. I don't think there's...
No, the DVD versions are totally offline, so they're still good. Yeah. But the season 1 and season 2 of the downloadable versions, you haven't been able to buy them for a long time, but now they've finally actually gone down. Soda Drinker Pro, as we just talked about in Shovelware Cemetery, real winner. The party time achievement for beating Vivian Clark is unobtainable. There's a part of the game you cannot get past, so you obviously can't finish it. The developer has responded and is apparently working on a fix, so maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Cross your fingers.
Yeah. And finally, some good news. Bike Mayhem 2, the score 50,000, I think. Yeah, 50,000 point trick was fixed. Yeah. So does that make the game completable now?
I'm not sure.
Let's see. Looks like it. Yep. 10 people completed it. So you can actually complete that one now.
Woohoo!
And that's it for Knobs and Discos.
Translation, Crandy will actually put it on his tag now.
Right?
Maybe.
Big Bike Mayhem guy.
I don't have that one.
Awesome. Right, well, backwards compatibility and game delay roundup. The new backwards compatible title is Rayman Origins. This is a fantastic platformer. Legends is better, I think, but Origins is very good. Do you? Oh, I have a lot of fun with this.
I can play it co-op, but trying to play it on my own, I suffer so badly from the fact that you only have one life unless you've picked up the little heart. And I died about 15 times on the first level doing the beam dive. Finally got to the end, and then I died before I escaped. So I've got to play the first level again. I feel like I should hand in my gamer card or something. I'm just terrible at it.
I love Rayman. I haven't played Origins, but it's high on my list of games to play, because Legends was just fantastic, and the even the Jungle Run and Fiesta Run were both great games, and that's kind of almost the same style. The runners are a little different, but close enough. I'll put them in the same category.
Yeah, for sure. Mirror's Edge is delayed.
No,
it's only 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. So it's not coming out in May. It's coming out in early June. So don't panic too much. But they have delayed it a couple of weeks. And then Lumo has been delayed. So what is Lumo? I've never even heard of Lumo.
It's an ID at Xbox game. I just picked this up. It was actually on my feed. I'll just give a shout out to Quick Z Ninja. He posted about it first. It's an indie game that was slated for release, I think, in May or late April. Actually, I think it was meant to have just been released on the 26th or 22nd? 22nd. But yeah, they've delayed it indefinitely at this stage, so...
Oh no, I don't like it. Definitely.
Yeah, they haven't given a new date, but they said they'd update with a new launch date at some point soon, but no news as yet.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll go into zombie news. We've got 2 items here. The Walking Dead Michonne miniseries is going to wrap up on April 26th, which is this week. So we should have that thing completed. And is that on our tag now? Can I actually go ahead and take care of this?
We should be getting an episode 3 code at some point. So we'll cover that on Shovelware Cemetery in the near future.
Let me take care of that one. I love me some zombies. We will it'll be finished up. A nice little 3-episode arc, and then we've got Dead Rising Watchtower news. We officially have a release date for Dead Rising Endgame. This is the sequel, of course, to Dead Rising Watchtower, and it's coming on June 20th. It'll be, again, Crackle will stream it on June 20th. I don't know if it's going to be free again like Watchtower was. I have to think that it is going to be. Anyway, I'm super pumped for this. Like, it's going to be a silly movie and whatnot, but I'm really excited just to go back to this world. I had a lot of fun in it. I got a lot of this information from IGN, and apparently they had to put a full disclosure thing on here. Apparently, IGN host Naomi Kyle is going to make an appearance in this movie, so that's kind of fun. But yeah, a lot of characters in here, and we'll see. I definitely will be watching it on June 20th. Last time I told my wife, I'm like, I'm absolutely going to, when the first one came out, I'm like, it's going to be dumb, but I need 2.5 hours, and I'm going to watch a movie by myself downstairs, so don't bother me. So
She doesn't
it was
go
good.
for the Dead Rising movies.
Not a fan, no. Not really her cup of tea, but it is what it is. I can't thankfully I don't have to go and watch like garbage chick flicks or anything. So we've got a nice mutual understanding of the
Watch what
TV
you're
shows
saying
we
there.
don't share.
Do not diss chick flicks. Chick flicks are awesome.
Not
you
my-
Actually have women in them.
We know your secret, Frame. We know you're secretly a Bachelor watcher.
Yeah, I'm favorite, right? I saw that on the quiz, but I failed. I absolutely failed at. Cool. Well, anything else that we need to cover? Joe, do you have anything else that we might have missed that you're interested in covering, or should we just wrap this thing up?
Why does my brain always go blank when
Okay,
anyone asks me a
works for me.
question? I saw some playthrough. I've been playing with my friends. The Mirror's Edge beta, which looks really cool. I haven't tried it myself yet. I'm sure I'm going to fail miserably at that one as well. But it looks really, really, really nice.
Yeah, Terrigan, are you going to go back and how long is that open for?
I think it's till the 26th. So by the time the show
So a
comes
couple
out,
more
I think
days.
it'll be gone.
It'll be over.
Yeah.
Are you going to play some more?
Yeah, I'll give it. I'll try the next level through.
That's kinda what I'm thinking,
already
too.
committed to buying the game anyway, so it's sort of more just to see it a little early for me.
Yeah, I suppose. Boy, maybe then I'll just not, since if you're buying it, sounds good to me. Awesome. Well, hey guys, thanks again so much for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great getting together and recording. It was awesome having Joe back on the show. And we could get this to work. Hey, all you listeners out there, if you guys could please give us a hand and give us any ratings in your podcast review sites, that's fantastic. And please, we just love all the communication, the conversation, the retweets, the quotes, the everything. You guys are so involved, and it's so wonderful to have you a part of our community. Keep in mind, you can always get us at Twitter, at Z2Z, ZEDTOZED. Of course, email, contact@Z2Z.com. There's a leaderboard set up at TrueAchievements.com for the Z2Z podcast that you will see announcements for when the new show is released, or, if we have, we're going to announce the random to-do list, I'm sure, through there, as well as other areas in my friend feed and whatnot. Lots of information in that regard. Facebook, there's places everywhere to find us. Each one of us individually. We do have our Twitch stream. I'll be streaming by the time this airs. Hopefully you enjoyed my horrible run at Dark Souls. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, that's tonight, isn't it?
It is tonight. Yeah, it's about 6 hours from recording here.
Oh no, I'm going to be asleep.
Oh, 4 hours from recording. Man, yeah, 4 hours from now we'll be doing it.
Watching you die over and over and over again.
Over and over and over. And over and over. It's going to be fantastic. Hey, quick shout out to all the websites that help us make this show a reality. TrueAchievements.com, Xbox Achievements, Xbox Roundtable. I used IGN quite a bit today, so thank you, IGN. And of course, we want to give a big shout out to Microsoft and for making this Xbox console. And before my dog starts freaking out anymore, I just saw my daughter running around out back. That's great. This is what happens when you record midday. You get a lot of fun that to be had. So, on behalf of Joe, Terrigan, and Crandy, this has been Brandon. And to all you Gamerscore junkies and achievement hunters out there, thank you so much for listening. We will catch you next time.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening.
Can you guys pick up my dog barking?
I could, yeah.
I heard the dog. Yeah.
It's all right.
Being a jerk. There's kids in my yard. God, I hate those kids.
What, strays?
Get out of my yard. Old man Freem's trying to record a podcast here.
Chatting
Get out of here, you kids.
Hey, speaking of which, of Scooby-Doo, someone asked me a question about Scooby-Doo. Do you remember the original phrase regarding meddling kids? And I would have gotten away with
something if it wasn't for those meddling kids.
And what's the tag along with the dog? Do you remember?
No.
This was donkeys years ago.
Well, because we're thinking like, and your dumb dog, and your stupid dog, and your mangy mutt, like there's a tag along line there. Of course, it's the meddling kids piece, but then there was always usually someone who threw on something about Scooby in particular. Anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Here on Z to Z today, we have Spaz Poll with my Donald Duck coffee mug of the week. This is Donald serving Mickey's coffee with a vintage 1950 styles animation.